Happy Greg Cody Tuesday. Well, we're not on video, so you giving me a thumbs up there isn't really helpful.
Oh, that's crazy.
Live video. Who knows around here?
How is it that he doesn't know where he is still after all of these years doing this with us?
Shadow show, in Greg's defense, is a relatively new concept, and I'm still not fully dialed into it yet.
Thank you, Mike.
You're messing with me with how far you have that mic down, right? Like that's just to troll me?
Oh, for the love of
Like
God.
seriously?
It's very low.
We
Greg,
can't hear
it's
you.
closer to your crotch than it is to your mouth, Greg. It is.
Okay, and then when it's too close, it's like, we hear you breathing.
Okay, but
quit breathing.
Greg, these are problems no other professional broadcaster has.
Just some notes. When you're not talking, lean back slightly so your breathing doesn't get caught. And when you're going to talk, sit up normal so you're into the mic. It's kind of not that difficult.
Okay.
Here's a helpful note. Stop picking on your dad. Everybody hates it.
Thank you. God, isn't that the truth? All right, go on with the show. The show must go on, as they say.
Why did you say before the show, mirror don't lie, and then you said, actually, the mirror does lie?
I believe that.
All the time. It's everything's opposite.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but the mirror is open to interpretation. Like when I see myself in a mirror, I see myself differently than when I see my photo on TV or something else.
Well, the reason this conversation started is because I was asking Greg what he thought of Angel's caricature that flips up there on the slot machine, and he doesn't like it.
it's a little harsh.
It's all one color.
Right.
It's all gray. It's
Right.
all
It's a
of
bit
it
pale.
Well, it's just all of it is ashy. All of him is just covered in it. If he were to emerge from a volcano that had just erupted and was running for his safety, he would look that kind of ashy in his hair
Right.
and on his face.
Yes. Let's just refer to it as an unflattering caricature.
But you said originally, mirror don't lie, because what you said to me was, I guess I got to accept that I am now gray. Mirror don't lie. And then you stopped and said, actually, the mirror does lie.
Yeah.
And I don't think the mirror lies. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Does your mirror lie?
I'm with my dad on this. You'll look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, all right, this is fine. This passes. And then you see yourself in a picture and you're like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, but
what did my mirror tell me?
No,
Correct.
but the mirror, wait a minute, but the mirror is more accurate than the picture. You can take unflattering pictures. You can't take unflattering mirror.
No, you can't, because it's a scientific fact. You do appear better looking to yourself in the mirror because of the facial symmetry being reversed, the fact that you're subconsciously posing, you control the lighting.
Yep.
You when you look in the mirror, you're trying to look as best as you can.
I put my tongue in my mouth so my face gets as thin as possible. Like,
There's some mirrors that lie, though, because you look at some mirrors and you're like, ooh, I look good. And then you look at other mirrors and you're like, whoa, where did this guy come from?
Funhouse
Not even the
mirrors lie all
funhouse
the
mirror,
time.
just a regular mirror. Sometimes the gym has some better mirrors. Is it the lighting? Is it the angles?
It is. It's all those things. They know how to make people feel good about themselves. It's part of the business
But
plan.
then you see one at your house and you're like, damn.
Have the mirror at the
Where'd that
gym
good come from?
be a good mirror with good lighting.
The mirrors at the gyms have filters on them now, like IG filters. So like when you go, you're like, ooh, okay.
I think you can work out with those mirrors. They do like a workout too.
I don't think you guys are accurate anyway. I believe the mirror is an accurate representation of what you look like. More accurate.
No, I asked
than
ChatGPT about the
photographs.
No. I asked ChatGPT. That's like a human thing that happens in your brain when you look into a mirror.
It's a fact.
Put it
Jack.
on the poll. Is it a fact, Jack, that
It's like your thing.
that the
I'm
mirror?
not a slave to that. I don't have to say
come on,
Jack
man.
every
But it's
time
your
I say
thing.
Jack.
Your line. It's your line.
It's my line when I'm ready for it.
We want to get the people to pop. You get the people to pop when you recite your own line.
Pop
you-
Doogie.
you-
That's what I called my grandfather.
He's
Pop.
right about that, yeah. He has said that on multiple occasions.
Thank you. I'm in reruns.
except the ones you need to remember. Those you get wrong. How is it that you get your signature lines wrong?
Because I'm not a slave to them. You know, they're
we
they're on,
heard you say that
can we,
first
yeah,
time.
you can. you
they're
don't have
on
to
my
keep-
terms.
Please stop saying that phrase.
You want to put Udonis Haslam up in the rafters again today?
You're the one who was lifting him up into the rafters. I'm the one who I just put ropes under his armpits.
All right, let's
for the
start.
visual
Let's start
of
the
him
show.
rising
Let's
into
start
the
the
rafters.
show.
Glad we're back
Let's
here.
start the show.
Stop that. Stop that. tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for war, man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put them in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Man so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. Like yes, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
I felt for Roy this morning, even though Roy is affiliated with the only good thing that we have in South Florida sports at the moment. I guess I should say Inter Miami is also excellent. But among the major sports that we cover here, the top four, Roy has the hockey team, and he was out at Panthers practice, and Brad Marchand spoke glowingly of both the Bruins and the Panthers yesterday. But right under his nose, he missed the Ekblad suspension of 20 games, and he didn't do any good reporting. He gave us atmosphere from an empty arena, but soon after he left the arena, we learned that Ekblad was suspended for 20 games. And your reaction, Roy, was what to both this news and being beaten on this news?
Well, first of all, it was about 6 hours after we left this news.
Well, you could have broken it early.
You could have hung around.
You were there.
I could have hung around for 6 extra hours.
I don't think anyone actually broke this story. It was announced by the league and the NHLPA.
Yeah. I understand.
What's the cover-up then? Is
but
I think what Dan's asking.
Roy was there. It's not really the cover-up. It's more just missing the news, just being there to gather news and then missing the news.
Well, yes. Okay. I missed the news. Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out.
There were no rumblings?
No rumblings.
Did you
no
see Aaron
whispers.
walking out with like a cardboard box full of his, personal effects?
I don't think he was fired, Billy.
Well, no. For 2 weeks, though, he can't be there.
That is correct. No. I did not see a cardboard box of any of his belongings in it. No.
You also missed on reporting the Mikko Rantanen trade to Dallas, so apologize.
Me? I gotta apologize.
You're missing scoops left and right.
We do that well here at Meadowlark Media. I will have you know that yesterday, Taylor, and I'm in agreement with that listener at Flanagan's who said less Taylor on the show.
It was one guy.
Taylor reported yesterday, because he's our North Carolina expert, and no one has more Mac Hollins information nationally than Taylor does. He reported yesterday on X, Mac Hollins to the Patriots, and he had a typo in the tweet, and when he took it down to edit it, someone else reported it.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
That's the news game.
That's
the news game. No, but that's how we do it around here. Some people might ask, how do you get beat when you're standing on the ice and Aaron Ekblad is packing up his stuff? But you got beat on that story.
How bad was the typo? I didn't see it. Like, what did he need to take it down? Did you get the context of the tweet with the typo? Like, he should have just left it up, right?
The thing is, he's the nation's foremost expert on Mac Hollins. So any time that Taylor tweets something out, it's got to be right, because obviously he's the number one guy for Mac Hollins News. When you send out the tweet and it says DTH instead of THE, it's like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I do that all the time. I have to take down tweets and redo them. It's tough not to make an error. Mac Hollins, I think number 57 on the Greg Cody Show all-time list of all-time guests. So's Ekblad, number 85. All my guys are moving. They're being traded. They're being busted for dope. I mean, all kind of things are happening.
Okay, well, what is I saw Bobby Portis got 25 games. When you get these bigger suspensions, we're always assuming. And in Ekblad's case, I guess we now understand how his play improved, right? I mean, you guys hated him for a while, and then for the last 9 months or so, you guys have been fine with him.
Something happened.
Well, the funny thing is, the last person who got busted for PEDs and suspended for 20 games was Nate Schmidt when he was at Vegas. He's a Panther now.
I wish that Ekblad or any athlete suspended for PEDs would just instantly own up to it instead of implying, inadvertently, I took a medicine, I didn't know this. Ekblad, He's 29 years old. Okay, he hears the career clock ticking a little bit. No longer the best defenseman on his team, and he wanted to get a little bit of an edge. It's human nature. It's illegal, but it's human nature.
Kind of crept back into the discussion of being the best defenseman on his team. He
More than Forsling?
He had a really good season, really great bounce back. When he was out for a brief period of time this season, the Panthers' form had dipped. He came back. They were off to the races. I mean, I hate to say this, but this is like one of those baseball suspensions where a guy has a crazy year and you're like, that makes sense. When I saw the Ekblad news, I'm like, man, that kind of makes sense. He's bounced all the way back this year.
I do wonder, when they made the deal a couple of weeks ago for Seth Jones, did they have an inkling that this might be coming?
Well, this is why Roy should have broken it 6 hours early, because I doubt that all of this news came down in those 6 hours after he left the ice. Mike, when you say off to the races, I know that the expression, what it means, but why are people off to the races? Like, what is it that makes people go off to the races? And Tony, I saw you checking your phone. Do you have any breaking news for
I've
us
got an
there?
update on the Taylor situation. He said he had 2 typos. Posted, deleted, posted again, deleted again. Mike Garofalo posted, then I posted.
That's just on him.
So he said,
You need to look in the mirror. Speaking of mirrors.
Problem was, I went for a 2-year deal to try to add the money involved, and that's how I got the mix-up in the typos.
19th century horse racing.
I was going to say, Diablo took off. That's where I know the thing comes. All of a sudden, it's like, we're off to the races. This guy's gone.
Can't you just edit a tweet in the first hour? Like, what's he doing there?
If you're subscribed to premium.
I can.
Let me ask you guys the question about Ekblad and just suspensions in general, because I want to play this sound from an unreliable messenger. It's old sound, but it didn't get any traction, none. And Chael Sonnen, because he's a professional troll, but he's also been someone who has broken news. Chael Sonnen said this of LeBron James, flatly.
If the world understood what LeBron did, like other basketball players will hear what LeBron does and go, well, yeah, but that doesn't matter, right? It's like a baseball player. You're hitting a stick out of the way. It doesn't matter. It's like, no. If you knew what these performance enhancers did, then you would know why it does matter.
What do you think he's
There's
doing?
only one. We have the same drug guy, if you will. I know exactly what he's doing. But there's only one golfer.
Please tell.
There's only one golfer. I'm not going to. But there's only one golfer that follows the big 3. The big 3 is EPO, growth hormone, testosterone. That's the Lance Armstrong diet. There's one golfer, but it's Tiger Woods. Like, yes, it does matter. People will say it all the time, it doesn't matter. John Daly won it. It's like, it matters. Trust me that it matters. EPO matters. It's the reason LeBron takes it. It matters. And if other basketballers understood what it did, EPO increases your red blood cells, which gives you endurance so you can play all game long. You can shoot in the fourth
more
quarter
red blood
just like
cells,
you
more
shot in the
oxygen
fourth
in your red blood cells. Okay, got you.
It's the king of performance enhancers.
So you would prefer that, especially in a fight sport, to anything else?
EPO is king.
Because it's going to give you the stamina.
Yes.
That's why cyclists do it.
That's why cyclists
Tour de France is.
So that 5th round energy is
the
more
human
important.
body is not made to do the Tour de France. I mean, the people that set that up are inhumane. So of course you have to go. Of course it's supernatural people that they're forcing them to take.
What sound is that? What is he doing?
Chael Sonnen, for those of you who do not know, produced for 5 rounds one of the most stunning things I've seen while on performance enhancers. Is he totally dominated the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world in Anderson Silva at the time, and then lost at the end because he slipped up, but had him dominated. My question to you is, when Chael Sonnen says something like that, if right now the news came down that the oldest player in the NBA, who's still doing things that are completely unprecedented for his age, if the news came down that he was using HGH, would anyone be surprised by that?
The small domino is Aaron Ekblad testing positive and getting a 20-game suspension. That leads to a Chael Sonnen clip that's old. And the big domino is, let's just use this to invoke LeBron's name. Well, I don't like this one bit.
I was going to do it yesterday with Mo Vaughn's HGH admission, but instead I decided to do it today.
Mo Vaughn! Just let's peel back the curtain. We know what we're doing here.
I want to ask the question because I'm amazed at what's happened in sports when it comes to this stuff. We were all naive with McGuire and Sosa. McGuire and Sosa had it in their lockers, and it was a totally common thing, and we were naive at the time. And I'm asking legitimately, who would surprise you now And what would be your reaction to specifically the one guy doing things that have never been done before? Because I would be not only unsurprised, I also wouldn't blame him. And furthermore, if I were him, I would dare the league to punish me. I would dare the league to find out and try to do that to me so that they eradicate my records.
It feels like, if we want to get conspiratorial, the league has been turning a blind eye to people at that level taking things for a very long time. Like, what, we're just surprised that LeBron is at 40 years old, now creeping back into the MVP race at 40 because he's had an incredible season all of a sudden?
Yeah, but what does that mean, though? I mean, retroactively, are we now suspicious about Tom Brady's longevity and success?
Kind of.
I don't throw any shade on LeBron James based on something an ex-UFC fighter says. I think he's built up too much credibility to assume that just because he's still great at 40,
okay, but I'm asking a career newspaper man to just for a moment take a look at results that have no precedent and have some questions about it, as opposed to simply accepting at face value something in sports that can no longer be accepted at face value.
So he's the only one doing it, though?
I'm not saying that.
But that means if a lot of people are also doing it, he's still the best.
That in turn levels the playing field. If the greatest ever at their sport, Tom Brady, arguably LeBron James, are doing these things and getting away with it, you got to assume everybody is. Same thing like the 90s in baseball, and that doesn't mitigate his greatness. It may explain some things that are hard to explain, which is, why are we seeing this guy do it at 40? It was a question that we asked about Tom Brady, and we just assumed everybody else would, and it turns out, no one else could. Tom Brady was the greatest ever.
Peyton Manning was also, there's a lot of cloudiness, a lot of things around the Al Jazeera report of Peyton Manning getting stuff for his neck. Maybe he was taking things before that.
His wife.
Sorry.
You got to get that right.
Sorry, yeah, no. Allegedly.
Typo.
To answer your question, would I be surprised if all of a sudden it came out that LeBron James has used HGH? No. Just as I was not surprised late afternoon yesterday when my wife said, hey, did you hear about Aaron Ekblad? It isn't a shock when any professional athlete, to me, tries to get better or tries to get healthier sooner by using medicinal means. It's against the rules. Maybe it shouldn't be against the rules. I don't know, but it doesn't surprise me. The only thing that I don't like is to assume that Chael Sonnen is right and to assume that LeBron James is not quite the angel that we've known for 2 decades.
I want to stop you for a second, though, because I do think it's possible for something to be completely unsurprising and still shocking. If that news came down right now, you're not going to tell me that you'd be like, like you'd have a reaction to it, and it wouldn't be like you would feel lied to in some way. I don't know how emotional you would be or how much we've changed this over the last 20 years, but you would not be indifferent about that news. We would be engulfed by that news if that were so.
I'll entertain your gambit. I think for me the shock would be, man, they actually did it. They caught him, and they decided to put out a press release and announce this to the face of the game. Like I would be shocked at that. I'd be more shocked at that than learning that a top athlete is doing whatever he can to stay at the top.
You know what's funny about you saying that is that I would indeed be shocked if the league actually did that, but I would also be shocked if the league consciously and actively covered it up. If you showed me some sort of chain that revealed to me how it is that got covered up by a league protecting its interests and declining to protect its integrity, if you showed me all of that and showed me knowledge of it, I would find that to be shocking as well. Like, I understand that we're sitting here saying these things in the hypothetical, but now put it on Adam Silver's desk and have him make the decision that overtly protects something that is against the rules. That seems kind of crazy, even if we're now used to corruption in all facets of the space where we're watching
there's a
things.
Paper trail on this
Dan.
getting to Adam Silver's desk, and the person that takes it in is still alive.
It is. Let me just say, it is extra reckless to be. I know Chael says he shares the doctor, but he's half the time he's in character. Like he's not. It's It's not the best source.
Okay, but I remember the first time that I noticed feel-good being swept up by conspiracy theories and cynicism. It's when Cal Ripken Jr. hit a home run in the All-Star game, and it was such a perfect moment that immediately, was it Hideo Nomo? Somebody assumed that the pitch had, many people assumed that the pitch had...
Chan-Ho Park. Grooved it.
Ooh. Ooh, Dan. Ooh.
That is amazing.
Let me tell you something.
It got grooved, Dan. More importantly, the pitch got grooved.
I think that
You
should
did this
be
to
more
yourself.
than a $5 fine.
You did this to
I think
yourself.
that should be a
I
bigger
tried to
fine
stop
than
you.
that.
Tried to stop you with Chael.
Not great. Not great, no.
I hope Chris is right, by the way.
Yeah.
It's
Fact check that one, man.
No, it's even worse than that. It is even worse than that. You said Chan-Ho Park, and I had in my head that Chan-Ho Park, for some reason, was a first baseman that was Hee-Sop Choi. So it's even
Not making it better,
it's
Bob.
even worse. It's even worse.
They were both Dodgers. in your
Thank you.
defense.
Yes, not a good defense, and I will
Actually, all three of them were.
He's up a little chubby, too.
Again, though, I will say to you guys that was the first time that I'm like, can we not have good things that we believe in sports, that we're going to immediately arrive 25 years ago or more than that in a place where we're going to take Cal Ripken Jr.'s, as if it's not hard to hit a home run in an all-star game, and we're going to immediately apply cynicism to it.
So you didn't like how that made you feel, and then 20 years later, we're lifting up Chael Sonnen. Like, it's cool watching this phase of LeBron's career, and those questions and whispers, social media conjecture and innuendo, that's been around LeBron forever. For literally like at least 15 years of his career, people have been wondering, what's that little break that he's taking in the middle of the season? This is stuff that people
He's going
say
where?
all the time.
Again, though, I simply say to you, as we're watching all of these things that have no human precedent on where the limits of the human body have been. This is not a player. Go look at Michael Jordan's number and his percentages, his numbers when he was 37 years old.
No doubt. And I get it. And I feel like we have this conversation every time an aging quarterback hits the market. We're watching two guys do it. And they just so happen to be the best ever. Like, that's why they're doing it, maybe. I understand, like, we're trying to rationalize what we're seeing. With Brady, it flatly doesn't make sense because look at his body. Like, with LeBron, we're doing like, wow, he's chiseled out of granite. I get it. With Brady, pliability and avocado tequila?
Yeah. Strawberries. The thing that I'm doing, though, with you guys, I understand, okay, that the playground is this utopian space for us where we do dreamy childhood things. But everywhere else in America, facts are being questioned everywhere. Things that have conspiracy theories are growing power everywhere. But not here.
No, yes, here.
No, not here. Because this isn't a conversation that's actually happening anywhere. I want to preface all of this, even though I'm already deep in the weeds on it. I want to preface all of it by saying that I lost my Baseball Hall of Fame vote because I am not judgmental about these people using science and advantages to try and beat all the other people who are using science and the advantages that all of us would love to have a fountain of youth. And I get everything. I'm not judging it. I'm wondering that the reaction seems to be around this to just simply accept, yes, something I've never seen before. I believe that to be pure, and we're not doing that with anything else, any other subject matter in America.
But is it fair to, like, maybe not reserve that for the GOATs? Messi's playing great in older age, too, and he actually had to be on human growth hormone when he was younger because of how he was born. Like, I think we're conflating all-time greatness. When I list those three names, they might be on the Mount Rushmore of all-time greats in athleticism for a conversation that might be reserved for journeymen trying to hang on, because those are the guys that get pinched most of the time for this kind of stuff.
But isn't the thing to do it as the number one guy, knowing that you're the face of the league, knowing that Adam Silver would have to crater the entire league to make sure that you don't get put on one of these lists? Dan, LeBron James is more protected than the President of the United States. I want you to know that, okay?
I don't think that's
that can't
right.
be true.
I think so.
I don't think that's accurate. I think
so.
He's more protected. He's more protected from PR, from all these different angles than the President of the United
Although
States.
the last president was accused of PEDs.
He had to.
The idea,
come on, man.
The idea that anybody would be using human growth hormone to feel better is something that I would understand and say, yes, if your body is in pain, go ahead and do whatever it is that you have to do. The only arguments I've ever heard against human growth hormone are if you have some sort of undetected tumor in your body, it will speed up its growth if you do human growth hormone. In fact, I will tell you, because South Florida has been something of a pioneer in this regard, where A-Rod and Manny Ramirez and a whole bunch of lawlessness took place in a way that was sloppy. I will tell you that about 10 years ago, a urologist suggested, I remember I went with my brother, and I was ready to do something that actually was inserted in your body that released human growth hormone monthly when it was supposed to. And the last thing the doctor told me as I was leaving is what I said, which is if you have an undetected tumor, because I'm like, what are the side effects? Like, how is this something that you're telling me I could just come in here and feel much better? I'm going to hurt less. I'm going to have more energy. I'm going to be happier about life. And it's got no side effects. That side effect is not generally a concern for young people. That's not an absolute, but that's not something that if you're in your athletic prime necessarily undetected tumors. But I was in my 40s when it is that I was looking into doing this, and I did a lot of research on it, and I totally understand why any athlete would protect the $50 million a year late in their career that wouldn't be available to them because these careers used to always end at 37 years old. Like, there's no such thing as what Taurasi did, what Ovechkin is doing, what Tom Brady did. And yes, you're talking about all-time greats keeping their level from falling more precipitously, which is generally how it drops at 37. I'm simply more interested in why it is that we choose this particular naivete when you're presented with something that by 3 years has no precedent. Because even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, what he was doing late in his 30s was all just skyhooks, and you can see all of the ways that he's aged numerically. You can't see it in LeBron's numbers. It's not anywhere to be found except on his defense.
You know, you mention Ovechkin, and it does get the brain to wander a little bit because he did drop off for a little bit, but also, this is the first offseason I can ever remember where he was like photographed working out and running and playing pickleball to kind of stay in shape. And he doesn't have this great body, and he's aged like he's partied.
Well, you mention offseason and practice and working out. Let's check in with Tua and how it is that he is looking these days, because the internet has no issues on the fat shaming, and now we're doing to Tua what it is we did to Patrick Mahomes last offseason, where a little dad belly all of a sudden.
Una pancita, eso no.
Okay.
I'm sure he's super excited that his friend put this out.
This is the big domino.
He looks great.
Fat shaming Tua. I was now the big domino.
I was not doing
You're
it.
just asking us if we'd like to.
The internet is definitely doing it, and I don't agree with it.
The internet is doing it. I'm not here. I am not here for fat shaming others. I have been something of a pioneer in terms of allowing fat shaming of me.
Your picture is Mark Mangino, I think, still, right?
That's true.
So
I see a guy that's enjoying his offseason.
I see
nothing wrong with this.
Number one, no glass on the boat. Party foul. Pour that into a glass, and also it'll help you with bloating. Have you never seen Bar Rescue?
Can you guys get for me, please, the sound of Brad Marchand talking yesterday, both about the Panthers and the Bruins? I'd like to get to it in a second. But before I do that, I want to make a shameful admission here that was very different than the rest of you on what was your visceral reaction to the headline yesterday. When I saw the headline, Dolphins sign Wilson at quarterback, legitimately, I'm like, who the hell's Wilson? I had totally forgotten about the entirety of Zach Wilson. Like, I'd forgotten where he was, what he was doing, that he was bad with the Jets, that he was still available, that anybody would want him. Like, when I saw Wilson in the headline, it took me 5 seconds to be like, who the hell's Wilson?
You didn't think it was Russell, maybe?
I did.
Limited.
I hoped it was Russell. Now, that would have been a good signing.
No.
Yes.
I'll take Zach Wilson over Russell Wilson.
Oh, Zach.
What a bad take.
What are you doing?
More upside. We know what Russell Wilson is. Zach Wilson
boy.
is just like a
Super
guy.
Bowl winner?
Hold on a second. What? I mean, I think somehow the Jets still, though, when they're paying Fields $20 million a year, still lost yesterday, right? Like, that's crazy.
I mean, Zach Wilson is getting 6 times what Russell Wilson got last year. So you guys can laugh at me all you want.
He's not really, though. Like, he got paid by the Steelers $1 million, but he's getting paid by like 30 by like the Broncos.
That's true, but dude, what is Russell Wilson doing this offseason? Where's he ending up? I just think there's unknown with Zach Wilson. We kind of know what Russell Wilson is at this point.
Well, the Dolphins needed a proven veteran backup quarterback behind Tua. Zach Wilson ain't that guy. He's a draft bust.
That's true. He's not proven. I'm not arguing he's proven.
He's played 3 seasons and he's got more interceptions.
It's a top 5.
than touchdowns.
It's a top 5 quarterback skill set. Those measurables are still the same.
Greg, if I can, by the way, we thought the same thing about Sam Darnold, and now he just signed a $100 million contract, right? It's where you get plugged in, who you get plugged in with. All of a sudden, Zach Wilson starts looking really good in a system with Mike McDaniel.
No.
And then 2 years from now, somebody signs him to a $65, $70 million deal.
Zach Wilson's a top 5 quarterback in the XFL. Maybe.
Dude, I love that you just act like you know that he couldn't be good in another system.
No,
it's
your
not that
nickname
I
the
know.
Duke?
It's that the Jets knew and that the Broncos knew. And now the Dolphins will find out.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to flatter a dubious free agent signing, that's the thing to say. Well, what about other quarterbacks who we wrote off 3 years into their career and they bloomed and they turned out great? Yeah, if you want to believe that, go ahead.
Well, the Dolphins believe it.
Of course they do. Oh, they also got him cheap.
They're paying him like they believe it. It's $6 million. Couldn't be $10 million. They're paying like they believe that they can make him that.
They're paying like they realize they need a backup plan in case Tua gets concussed again, which is what Zach Wilson is. And he's a better option than Skylar Thompson, right? He's a worse option than Russell Wilson. If the two of them, like if I had Russell Wilson and Zach Wilson, I would take Russell Wilson.
And they also signed Zach Wilson to a 1-year contract, which isn't believing that this is a guy who might actually be your quarterback if Tua peters out with his health.
It's them signing a backup. And, Chris, to your point, like, we know what Russell Wilson is. Yeah, I know that Russell Wilson is better than Zach Wilson.
Yeah. Right.
I think there's more upside with Zach. Look, I want Tua to stay healthy. I don't want Zach Wilson to play. I'm just looking at the landscape of all these backup quarterbacks, and like it's better than Skylar Thompson.
But I mean,
he's got the top 5 talent. I think you can say all you want about he can't be anything. I guarantee you, Mike McDaniel sees Zach Wilson as like in my system. This guy, I can work with this.
I just generally dismiss because like he's got high upside is something that people say about bust first round picks all the time. It's something that people maintain till Brock Osweiler left the league. Occasionally, you'll catch the Sam Darnold and you'll catch the Baker Mayfield and maybe it'll work out. But most of the time, it's a sad story and it's Brock Osweiler.
I'm also kind of souring on Mike McDaniel. Like Mike McDaniel thinks he can fix them. Mike McDaniel's such a genius. How about you fix the problems that you have with the people you have and stop getting these pet projects just in case? Like Mike McDaniel, if we're being honest, is kind of on the hot seat.
All right, let's talk for a second about both Sam Darnold and getting tired of coaches and what it is that they have to say, because how tiring are these Spoelstra press conferences now when you see them lose to Charlotte and Chicago at home, and he's saying all the things about grinding and face your demons and we're going to get out of this, when the numbers, 8 of their last 9 losses, they've blown a fourth quarter lead. They've got 15 blown double-digit leads this season. Only Utah has more. They have real problems late in games because their offense is terrible late in games. And I mentioned to you guys how bad Utah is late in games. That game I saw, where they had the ball with 20 in a tie game with 26 seconds left. They're bringing it up court, and they get a half-court violation because they don't get it up in time because they're just terrible. The idea that they're with Utah in blown leads, and is Portland now better than they are? Does Portland now have a better record than the Miami Heat, because the Miami Heat are supposed to be going through the soft part of their home schedule and are losing games, and the Spoelstra talk, like, This roster is bad compared to what we're used to. It's not lose to Chicago and Charlotte at home bad. It's not that bad.
Heat are 1 game up on the win column from the Portland Trailblazers.
Have they reached the point where you don't want to lead? You just like don't want to build a lead.
Come back, you just will always want to come back.
No double-digit leads. That's the rule.
It's a tough time for Spo to have his worst coaching season ever, because it times out with maybe Pat Riley's worst season as an executive ever. So vibes are bad.
I'll tell you where it started. The game against the Pistons, Dan. You said that he would wake up 10 years from now in a cold sweat thinking about that timeout call, and all of a sudden, that's the little domino. And what's the big domino going to be?
I think the little domino was telling Jimmy Butler to shut up.
40 years from now, not 10 years from now, 40 years from now, the Golden State Warriors are 12-1 now with Jimmy Butler. They have lost one basketball
Steph's been playing
game.
really good, though. Let's be honest.
For the record, Jimmy Butler wanted to go to Phoenix.
And they suck.
That was the only team he wanted to go to.
Let's play some of this Brad Marchand sound to get a bit of a palate cleanser. Let's get some sorbet in with this meal.
This is sorbet?
This is just 2 minutes of him talking about how good the Panthers are.
It's extremely exciting to be part of such an incredible group. And when I walked into the room the other day, I literally had flashbacks to back in the year that we won and some of the groups that we've had over the year that I looked at as an incredible chemistry and incredible culture. And when you walk in here and you see the way the guys interact and the relationships that they have, not just within the room as players, but with their staff and their coaches and management, it shows why they've been, the pillar in the league the last few years. So I'm extremely excited to be part of the group and really looking forward to getting back on the ice and becoming part of the group here. They've bounced us the last couple of years in playoffs, so they bounced the Bruins the last couple of years. And it has been pretty remarkable to see the growth they've had as a group the last few years. I think throughout the year here this year, we've played the team multiple times, and I remember just thinking like that's the team to beat this year. I thought the way that they came at you in waves all game long, just the depth that they had in their group, they have the experience. They know what it takes when they get in those tough situations, and that's invaluable. They didn't lose many guys, and the guys that they did replace them with are great players. I looked at the group and I was like, that's the team that has the ability to go all the way again. And when you match the drive with the experience and the depth of the group, it's a very dangerous combination. When things were kind of coming up and kind of writing was on the wall, this is absolutely the place I wanted to go.
Oh, I love that.
Guys, so update me really quick. Obviously, I was locked in on the Panthers this past run. But so this guy is a guy from the Bruins, correct? That everybody hated. Mike called him a rat bastard, I think.
I didn't call him a rat bastard, but I would.
You would. Okay, you would. So now he's a Florida Panther, and now he's talking about how much he loves the Florida Panthers, even though back like 2 weeks ago he hated the Panthers and everybody on the USA team because of the Canadian USA thing.
The part that you're not understanding is that when rat bastard becomes cat bastard, all of a sudden Roy and Chris and Mike are doing what Chris was doing, which is, Greg, how embarrassed are you that your son spent that entire time rubbing his nipples with his hands until they chafe?
Yeah, I noticed that. Journalist Chris Cody, he's a fan. He's a season ticket holder. I mean, I expect that from Christopher. But as someone who's not a season ticket holder and doesn't cheerlead for the team, I love the signing. I mean, they got him for next to nothing, potentially a second-round pick, and for the stretch run to have him as your second line or whatever, I think it's a wonderful deal. Bill Zito continues to amaze with some of the things he's doing. He had a great team, wasn't satisfied, made it even better. Paul Maurice is one of the all-time great coaches. I mean, they're just state-of-the-art right now in the NHL and have been for the past 3 seasons.
Tony, what you're missing is also this is what we call a sleight of hand. You know what I mean? Like, look over here. We got this guy, big breaking news. Is this going to work out? He hates the Panthers. They hate him. Now he's a Panther. He's an Ice Cat.
Now he loves them.
Let's make sure to fly him down here so we can do this press conference. And then later in the day, you're going to find out that one of our players is taking steroids and has been suspended 20 games. But don't look at that. Look over here.
Classic
Look at
shell
the big
game.
signing. And now we're going to fly him right back to Boston for the next game where he was a minute ago. That's what they're doing here. Sleight of hand. Turns out, Chris, cheaters do prosper. Lord Stanley.
He is cheating.
Ekblad played very well. I won't remind anyone that the 2003 Marlins won a World Series with a ball that Pudge was able to hold on to at the plate because he was 40 pounds heavier than he was the next offseason.
Thank you for
Miami
not doing
cooking,
that.
yeah.
Glad you didn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not there with this guy. I don't like it one bit. We invited toxic vibes, and look, immediately the universe says Ekblad suspended 20 games. This is what you invited in when you bring Brad Marchand in a locker room. That was fine without him. Also, why do we have to do him this favor? Why?
Because he's injured.
Let him toil away in Boston. Let him be someone else's problem. He's trying to come over here and hitch his wagon to an absolute force in the sport that is, by all indications, handicapped to be the favorite in their conference. I don't like this for Brad Marchand. I don't want him to experience happiness.
Would you like to see him cry? I'm
telling you, I want to see the Florida Panthers win. If Brad Marchand lifts a cup and does that, fine. I won't clap or anything like that. But I'm unhappy that he gets to have that joy.
Okay, but would you like to see him cry? Would you like to actually watch a former Boston Bruin
I've seen him
legend
cry plenty. But
Mike,
the guy's a loser.
You didn't get joy. Mike, that clip right there where I was rubbing my nipples is him just for 2 minutes being like, I have looked at this team in awe for two. But that's
kicked your ass 2 years running.
What else is he gonna say? But we win there. That's our victory.
I get it. It's the only silver lining is ripping him away from Boston, putting him specifically on this team. I've seen so many reaction videos of Bruins fans.
Now I can chirp Sarah Sivian.
They're torn up about it, and I guess that's a silver lining. But for me, I'm good. Healthy scratch.
What happens if he plays tonight? Right? It's tonight.
He's not playing. He's injured.
Yeah, he's out.
Okay, well, never mind then.
Why are we acting all surprised that a player traded to a team would speak glowingly of that new team? This is what traded players do. I mean, he's.
But he doesn't have to give. He wanted to be only here. And that he had a good relationship with the Bruins, so they made it happen for him.
Right. Well, if you're going to be traded, you want to go to the defending Stanley Cup champion that might win again. No duh. I mean, no brainer on that one. Brad Marchand. He made a good career decision.
Do you guys realize that it is fundamentally impossible to surprise the old savvy veteran here with anything we discuss or any thought that you have? He is completely unsurprised by all things that happen.
Hold on a second. Well, everyone's jumping down my throat about him being injured. When Roy was at the Panthers camp yesterday, not reporting on the steroid suspension, he reported that Brad Marchand was going to be on this road trip traveling, and he might be good and suit up for the game.
No, I said he might take some ice recovery.
Morning skate type stuff.
Yeah. He's injured. I said he was injured yesterday.
Get out there, tough guy. Jeez.
Again, though, Mike Ryan, would you like to see Brad Marchand cry? Just say yes.
Of happiness or sadness?
So I could just play
Call him
the
a rat
video.
bastard.
Just say yes so I could play the video.
I'd never called him a rat bastard.
Yes,
Stop putting those words in my mouth.
I'm saying
However, if
call
I
him
did
one.
say that, I stand by it.
Let's hear Brad Marchand get emotional.
You know, I've had an incredible run in that organization, and I'm extremely proud. How things went there. Sorry. So yeah, it was very disappointing that things didn't get done, just because obviously I love the organization. I wanted to stay there, but at the end of the day, I also know that business is business, and every player has a shelf life.
Crocodile tears.
I think I actually enjoyed that.
When will this old couple die?
Let's play another clip from Billy Gill and Chris Cody doing Marlins spring training baseball on the radio.
We should get through the Trevor Rogers stuff early, though, because he's probably only going to go 4, right?
Well, last time he went 4. It would be really good if he went maybe 5.
That damn Jordan Walker wasn't fouling off so many pitches, you know?
Did you just swear on the air?
Oh, can I not say that?
No. Let's refrain. Might have to hit the dump button back in the station, folks. Here's a swing of a line drive up the middle and a base hit for Nolan Gorman, leading off the top of the second inning.
I thought I was coming in hot last inning. Billy really just taking the mantle.
Yeah.
See, all right, so the issue here is Kyle is very rarely around cursing. So I think damn is safe. Billy called some player this damn guy, and you should have seen Kyle was just like trying to do the call. I think we need to dump this back in the studio. Like Kyle was freaking out. I don't think it's a curse word. I think they were safe, but it was just funny to see the fear on Kyle and Billy, because you know Billy, he's a rebel rouser, but he doesn't actually want to offend any. So when he thought, oh my God, I just cursed and they had to dump something, the look on Billy's face was the best part of that.
Imagine if he said Stouffer stovetop pudding.
Did you just swear on the air?
Oh, can I not say that?
No. Let's refrain. Might have to hit the dump button back in the station, folks. There's a swing of a line drive up the middle and a base hit.
That wasn't all Billy did to bring it to a dark place. You got to play this clip. It's a little bit longer, but it's chef's kiss here from Billy.
I have a morbid question for you, Kyle.
Oh, fire away. Now we're talking.
Okay, so you see this man that's walking here. He's walking in with a Cardinals jersey that says "Together." Older gentleman.
Yep, he's got the cream-colored jersey on.
Yeah, so he has a jersey that says "Together." And then presumably, oh yeah, there you go. The person
they've been together since
and
19.
Then and we don't see the second number. Right.
Oh,
that's adorable. Well, yes. Heaven forbid though, one of them passes.
Oh wow.
Do you retire the jersey?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I think the question is, do you put it in like a case? Do you frame it? First pitch of Joey Wendell's a called strike.
Maybe you buried it with the person, right?
Boy, we have taken a dark turn. You're right. Yikes. Maybe the 0-1 swing and a miss. You can go ask him. That'd be wild.
I mean, he's kind of close. We could just shout down. No, let's not.
No, let's not. You erred on the side of caution there. That's good.
1968. Together since 1968.
Oh, they have a long way to go.
Do they?
0-2 swing and a miss. They've been together 55 years, those two lovebirds.
That's beautiful.
You don't care.
Solid math.
What do you mean I don't care?
Kyle.
I love love.
Kyle, did we pull the calculator out on the computer? Or was
Not
that
my phone. It was on my phone.
He must hate you guys so much. Like it's unbelievable that's
the 2-2.
That's always funny. The 0-1.
Journalism is dead.
But journalism, as we know it, as you know it, what you wanted to do when you were a little kid, okay? It has changed. It has. It's changed, okay? You're not wrong. Stephen A. Smith is not wrong. You have to adapt sometimes, okay? Because the game has changed. Your priorities have shifted. No one cares how someone goes and gets the news that they get, as long as the news is accurate, as long as it's coming from a credible place. If it's Woj, if it's Adam Schefter, if it's you, if it's Diana Rossini, if it's Shams, nobody cares. You might care. Greg Cody might care. Stephen A. Smith might care. But you know what? You all sold out. Every single one of you, okay? Stephen A. Smith jumped inside the circus tent. I don't blame him. Why'd he do it? Because he had to do it. Because the game has changed. You jumped inside the circus tent. You did. You did so with me. Think about that. With me and with Greg Cody every Tuesday, okay? And so you have ditched journalism a long, long time ago because why? Survival of the fittest, Dan. You have to change with the times. You have to roll with the changing environment, roll with the changing industry, and that's what you decided to do. That's what Stephen A. decided to do. And for Woj, for guys like him, the game has changed slightly, where he went out and he sought reports, and he wanted to be the reporter. And you know what? If now he has morphed into a mouthpiece for the Blazers, I'm okay with it. I am good with it. I don't care.
Survival of the fattest.
Everyone, exactly. Everyone is selling out to make a buck.
What a terrible timing.
It was great.
Like that joke.
Hey, just give it up. You all want to be journalists. You're not journalists anymore. None of you. Not a one of you. Sorry.
You didn't even hear the joke. You said
I did. Survival of the fattest. It was great.
It just could have been done after Stugotz stopped talking, Dan.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoehorn that
But I'm
in.
okay. I'm okay
you're
with
splitting
it.
hairs.
Right.
Okay.
You adapt, you roll with things, man. That's it. You know, Dan, you started off, you know, if you're a driver, you drove a yellow cab and you were loyal to the yellow cab. You know what? But the game has changed to Uber, to Lyft, to private driving. And you know what? you have to ditch the yellow cab and you have to drive an Uber. Why? Because you'll make more money. Why? Because more people are taking Uber than the dirty yellow cabs. That's why. That's what you do. No one cares about journalism. You know what they care about? Laughing, being entertained. And you do a great job of that. And Stephen A. Smith does a great job of that. No one cares about journalism. People care about smiling. That's it.
You know, this morning I found myself while I was driving Claire to school. I told her, you ask a lot of questions. You should be a journalist. And now here in this conversation, I just, don't be a journalist. Like,
exactly.
Do something else.
It's over.
Sad.
You're going to let Stugotz parent your daughter. You think that's a good idea?
You think journalism is a good occupation to choose now?
No, I would not. Listen, not only is it not a good occupation to choose, I have looked around Miami and realized we're the only ones providing the jobs we're presently providing. I heard local TV reporters are making $45,000 a year.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Can you guys let me know who it is and what it is that's going to be happening on Sunday around here during Selection Sunday, where we're going to be doing a live stream? Who's going to be in with us? Are we going for the show in America that knows the very least about college basketball, doing a live show off of Selection Sunday because it's a fun day to just have a silly party? What are we doing?
That's actually
Sunday?
what we're titling it, what you just said, that wordy sentence.
It should be, yes. The America's least informed Selection Sunday show. Yes, I mean, because between us, I think all of us can name a Cooper flag, and then everyone else is just laundry that you're betting on. That everyone else is Maryland -5. So I don't know who the guests are, but you guys are planning something. Are we going to then unveil what our tournament is going to be on Sunday? Because I just saw, Billy, the ad for our tournament, and you've heard my declining trust in our audience to be clever competitively based on what it is that they've done on that Boost Mobile Stugotz line.
I'm with you. I've been seeing some of the video submissions so far. They are dreadful.
Okay.
Audience, step it the heck up.
All right, so
LeBatardAF.com if you want to go and submit, and you can win a big prize. Look, lawyers be damned, because here's the thing. We've been walking around this situation. There's so much red tape around here. They should call this place 3M Edelark. You know what I mean? With all the tape that we have to work through around these parts. So lawyers be damned. Here's the prize, people. This is a prize that people used to pay tens of thousands of dollars for, okay? You're going to be able to come.
Nice.
Hold on a
Jeez,
second.
tens of thousands of dollars.
People, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me
You're
finish.
the one that paused, brother.
Hold on a second. Let me finish here.
Pause.
All right. We need you to come in here. Phrasing. Hold on a second.
All right.
We need you to get a 30-second video. Submit that video. Tell us why you should be watching this championship game with Dan, right? And then the winner is going to have the opportunity to watch the championship game with Dan, with Dan Le Batard, and some others who are yet to be confirmed and signed up for all that. And then, if I understand properly from the multiple meetings we've had, and if I haven't, I'm sure this is going to be edited out, or we're doing it now. And
it's live right now, Billy.
That's
There's
fine.
no editing out.
No, it's fine.
No, we can do that.
We can, yeah.
We can always fix it.
But
we can always fix it.
And then the winner, selected by fellow fans, the winner then, at a date to be determined, is going to have a nice in-person meet and greet situation. So I don't think we've expressed this properly because there hasn't been the proper enthusiasm around this contest. But again, people used to pay tens of thousands of dollars for this opportunity. So if you go to LeBatardAF.com, you can submit your video. You can tell everybody here why it is that you are the one that should be here. Or you could just make a really annoying video that then the fans will decide, you know what? I really want to annoy this group of people, and I want to send the worst person possible. I want to send the William Hung of the fans to go, the Sanjaya, if you will, of fans, to go and hang out with them because they can't get out of it. They're going to have to sit there, and they're going to have to endure this. And we, the fans, are in complete control. So, fans, this is your chance at revenge. Every time you sit there and you say, you know what, I don't want to hear about this damn Pat McAfee anymore. Well, guess what? Why don't you win and then talk to us about bobby pins or yarn or whatever it is that you want to talk about? Submit your video. Get the fans to vote for you. A little engagement. Go back and forth with the guys and the girls and everybody here. And that's it. LeBatardAF.com. Submit your video. Less than 30 seconds. If it's over 30 seconds, probably won't watch it. Once we get 64, honestly, the way things go around here, we're probably going to cap it off. We're not going to look at 65 through, 68 or however many people submit. So you should just submit it now as quickly as you can. We need this energy from you guys.
Some hints, little tips. Don't tell us how long you've been listening. We don't care.
Well, no, that's not true.
I'm just saying it's not a good way to get
I would say
you don't care.
Listen. Save all of those interesting things like how long you've been listening, who's your favorite, all of that for when you win, and we can talk to you in person and can't get away from you.
Zagaki.
Are we all Delaware fans today? Are we all blue hens today? Is Greg Cody wearing that blue shirt, at least in part because he is a hen?
Yes, I am. Love Delaware.
Henning it.
Love my hens.
Now, if you don't know about this story, they are the 12th seed out of the CAA conference, and they, I think, lost 9 out of 10 games to end the season. They're 16-19, just a bad team. But they've gone on a run here, and tonight they will play for their conference championship for a chance to punch their ticket into the dance.
The Magic Hens.
We are all Delaware Blue Hen fans tonight.
Damn right we are. Let's go. How come the rest of you aren't wearing blue like me? Well, Le Batard is. Well done. By the way, does the winner of that contest get to not only watch the game with you, but sit on your lap?
Well, no.
No?
Yeah, there's lawyers. You can.
Like Santa?
Okay.
3M.
Yeah, that would be great.
People have paid, I think the largest amount of money that has been paid to do any of these silly things with us is $35,000. So yesterday's price is not today's price.
I think that was in 2020 too, and those people never came. So that was just like a nice charitable act by them. So hey, thanks to you guys for the $35K charity. Dickie V or Jimmy V.
All right.
All the V's out there.
Excellent work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Billy, excellent work. You really did great work with everything there. Just totally buttoned up the way that I expect from you. Also, a contest that is run by you, trying to actively annoy me.
Oh, no, it's not run by me.
Signing me up for...
It's now become run by me, but that was not the intention.
Okay.
I was just the idea man.
Okay, excellent.
Now I'm the closer.
Okay.
Bradlage, they call me. Just hopefully we're not pitching that Albert Pujols is, you know what I mean?
I'll closer.
Bob save. Let's play some video here that I want to show people about. I don't know who is presently playing for the Marlins. I know that Jesus Luzardo is now in Philadelphia, and I want you just to know before I play this video that the entire time that this is happening, they've got Phillies manager Rob Thompson mic'd for sound, and he's watching Jesus Luzardo pitch. Jesus Luzardo's first pitch is a 2-1 pitch with the bases loaded. He throws 3 consecutive pitches, and all 3 of those pitches go out of the park as Thompson is just totally silent during the entirety of this conversation he's supposed to be having.
One of those in-game interviews. You're always like, oh, nothing ever happens during these. Well, something happened during this one.
All right, watch this.
Turn the switch up a little bit every day, and so that we're 100% going into the season, but at the same time, staying healthy.
All right, 2-1 on the way to Jones. Swing and a drive. Deep drive. Sosa goes back. It is way out of here. That's a grand slam for Jahmai Jones.
430 feet, 112 off the bat.
So the double was 114. Bat. This one 112. Competition. Jones right now looking good against the lefties.
He sure did. Andy Ibanez sends Sosa back. He's out of room. Back-to-back shots. Andy Ibanez not as far, not as hard off the bat, but equally impressive. And it is all of a sudden a 5-0 game as Luzardo is giving up back-to-back home. Topper, you're a great guy for A, hanging with us here, but B, in this sort of context of what goes on in the spring training game. Torres is the first one. He sends it to left field. Sosa is not going to get it. Back to back to back.
3 pitches.
My goodness.
Thompson winced on the last one the way you would if someone scared you. if you walked into a room and someone actually caught you entirely off guard.
You remember that video of Alec Baldwin in court when they're cross-examining a witness that had a bunch of good things to say about Alec, and at some point, then why'd you call him a bleep sucker? And he just picks his head up like real quick. It's the only reaction he had. That was Rob Thompson's look after the third home run.
Have you guys watched any of the Baldwin documentary that's in the middle of his life? Not documentary, reality show. As all of this happens, he's got 6 or 7 kids he's chasing around. I've always found him interesting, arrogant beyond all reason. But do you guys have any interest? I judge from the look on your faces, none of you want to read or hear anything or watch anything involving Alec Baldwin's real life.
No, I saw like an unfortunate video of like a Trump impersonator ambushing him outside of his apartment to ask him about killing somebody. And it didn't seem like a fun life.
I don't like the idea of reality TV being so real that they're all of a sudden in a therapy room when Alec Baldwin is going through counseling. I think that's too much. I don't want to know that much about Alec. I wish him well.
Isn't that what reality shows are, to get you deeper? The whole popularity, you must not be interested in any reality show.
I think there's a difference between what reality TV used to be, right? Reality TV, I think it started off by, putting 10 people on a deserted island and make them do this, that, and the other. It shouldn't involve someone's personal therapy, someone's mental health being splayed out for all to see. I'm just uncomfortable with that.
Someone's never watched the Kardashians.
Well, I don't like that either.
That's also like an augmented reality. They put people in these situations. Reality shows. I'm with Greg. I want to harken back to a day when people stopped being polite and started getting real.
Okay, but the reality television shows have to continue to be cheap programming and evolve, and so the way to evolve is be more intimate than you have been before. Go into places you this is a very cheap form of programming. Cheap programming right now is all of the rage, and just putting cameras inside someone's house and showing you the deepest of intimacies in celebrity. This is a currency that all of us are partaking in social media. We have more access to celebrities and their lives than we have ever had before.
Which is why I don't need reality shows. I've cut them completely out. I don't watch a reality show. What I do is follow people on social media, and that's enough of a reality show. Like, I consume speed via clips. I'm like, okay, that's my reality superstar, this YouTube streamer. I think that's really where reality's gone. And there's these reality-type shows on YouTube. And that being said, there's, Vanderpump Rules and all these really popular shows. The Kardashians are still reality TV gold from a rating standpoint, but it just does nothing for me.
The Paul brothers are about to star one on Max that I think starts later this month.
Like, I don't need a Paul brothers show, and I'm sure it's going to be uber successful. It's on Max. Like, I personally don't need it because they're always on. They're literally always on. Like, they send out a selfie video, they're performing. I see the reality show 24/7. They're YouTube streamers. They have a podcast. They're on Monday Night Raw. Like, they're boxing, Mike Tyson. Like, I see it all.
Yeah, their whole life is a reality show. So why do you need a reality show about a reality show, right? I mean, that's the Paul brothers.
Well, I want to ask you guys a couple of questions on this front. One, what is the universally considered most successful of the reality shows, and which one is doing it right now? Does Survivor and The Bachelor, those count as reality shows, right?
Yeah,
that's not just. I saw
but-
that Chris Cody was mouthing Kardashians back there because he says that's the most successful
And
one.
Jersey Shore.
I think in terms of like building an economy that set up generational
So
wealth for that
legacy ones,
family and all the kids, it's a Kardashian. So that was a gold mine.
And now the best and the most
They're on
popular
Hulu still, I
of the
believe.
but the most popular of the reality shows now. Yes,
Love is Blind, probably. I think everybody's on Love is Blind right now. Everything else is kind of reruns. Love is Blind is on its 5th season, so it's a little bit,
Aren't there
faster
two
to catch
different,
up.
like, there's like competition love shows, and then there's like, I'm at your house, you're living your life.
These are two different
reality.
types of reality shows. The dating shows, you're
at those
putting
differently.
different branch of reality.
I mean, they're both similarly, like, cheap and like bottom level of the creative space.
Bottom.
How do you have time I don't have time for this. How do you have time? You have a kid. How do you have time for reality shows?
You think I'm watching all these? I'm just talking about
I don't. Who has time?
I mean, Kardashians is a little guilty pleasure for me. Every once in a while, I'm scanning through Hulu. I'll throw Kardashians on.
At the point in my life, I watched the last season of White Lotus. I enjoyed it. I just told my wife, do it without me. I don't have time. Indian Wells isn't going to watch itself. Look, I got like basically 3 things a week. It's hockey on the second TVs, where I'm just like zoned out. Whatever's going on the main screen is my wife's domain.
Cyclone Mondays.
I got, that was on the second screen. I had to move out of the way for Big City Greens because my daughter's a terrorist with this main TV. Like, I got to just shut off my life. I can't follow anything. I got Indian Wells. If I wake up at 2:30 in the morning to see Monfils do his thing, that's always going to be there for me. I get 3.5 hours of TV, and I'm spending it watching Left Turns.
The first 4 episodes of White Lotus are a good 2 episodes.
Dude, I'm mad. I watched Righteous Gemstones because I'm like, this is going to be the show that I
was
follow.
wrong. What they did in their first episode was wrong.
I don't mad.
I don't need more Bradley Cooper. I need more Gemstones. I don't need origin stories of the Gemstones. You didn't give me any characters from the Gemstones in the first episode.
This is a dangerous game, Righteous Gemstones, and I'm sorry to be going at our partners over at Max, but I love this show. This is one of the few shows that I've been like, let me binge this one. I'm in. What you did to me on that first episode was wrong. Please don't do it to me for a second episode. I need Walton Goggins. I need Baby Billy.
I'll tell you what it is that they did with their first episode. I believe Danny McBride is hell-bent on spending as much money as he can. And so he just did a war reenactment as Righteous Gemstones. I'm looking at the cost of what it is that first episode was, and I thought I was watching Platoon more than I was watching Righteous Gemstones.
The talent budget definitely got blown on Bradley Cooper because there wasn't a single other actor in that episode that I recognized, and that's hard to do for an HBO show.
They just decided to do a war episode with that it looked real, and it's not what I want from my Gemstones.
Can I have a question here? So Righteous Gemstones is about a megachurch family. That's kind of like the thing. I haven't seen it.
Yes.
But why is there a war?
No, it was a civil war, and they went all the way back to the roots of the family. Like, you can tell what happened here. Danny McBride got extra high one day. Like, super high. Like, higher than he's probably ever been, which is saying a lot. And he's like, what if we did a Civil War episode, and it's Bradley Cooper?
I imagine that show's going to have a ton of great cameos. It's an inspired show, and I'm really stunned nobody did it before these folks are doing it.
But I was waiting for a laugh on that first episode.
It was weird. It was weird. There were no laughs.
I think, is that the joke? That they just tricked us with the first episode? Is the laugh, hey, we got Bradley Cooper for an episode, and we play it straight the whole time?
I thought that Danny McBride was actively making a statement about spending corporate money in the streaming age. That he just said, I've got a popular show. I'm the one who can get stuff made. Watch what I do with this. I'm just going to do something that's not funny. That is a. Have you seen it yet?
You think he was showing off?
I did. This is a good theory. Like there goes 30 of my minutes. Like, I wasted 30 of my minutes on that. It was a little bit over that, and I was just so mad at it because my TV time now is precious.
Mina Kimes is a giant Love is Blind fan, and I really did enjoy having a conversation with her yesterday about Sam Darnold, in which I believe she didn't realize something about herself. I'm texting her asking, you must hate this Sam Darnold signing. She's like, actually, it's financially responsible. It's really just a 2-year deal. I'm like, you're a Seahawk fan. You've got Sam Darnold. She was doing the GM breakdown and not the fan breakdown. There is not a Seahawk fan happy today that Sam Darnold is their quarterback. That team's not better than it was last year because Sam Darnold is their quarterback.
They lost Geno and they lost DK, so yeah, the team's not better.
And Lockett.
But
Sam Darnold was a mirage last year. Those skill people in Minnesota are crazy good. Name Seattle's skill people now. Like
JSN.
You can't lose. I know that they're going to try and do stuff in the draft, but does anyone believe that Sam Darnold is going to make Seattle? Does anyone believe that Sam Darnold will be as good in Seattle as he was in Minnesota? Just start there.
No, that's a healthy skepticism, I think, because we've seen those quarterbacks have a good bounce back year and then hit the market and sign a regrettable deal. It's a weird time to hit reset for Seattle because they were kind of like – they were a scrappy team that was in the playoff mix, but I guess they evaluated their team like, that's probably our ceiling, so – tear it all down.
Are you guys positive that Sam Darnold is better than Geno Smith? Not to bring up his name again.
No, I don't think so. Just because I've seen Geno Smith do it for a longer period of time. Now he is no doubt younger than Geno Smith, and I think it is a fair take to say, like, no matter how bullish or bearish you are on Geno, we've probably seen his best. He's a longer in the tooth quarterback. He's a stopgap solution. He's been a stopgap solution for Seattle because no one ever thought, even while he was having these years, they had the type of team that he could take them to that next level. So he's just like a year-long loan for Las Vegas. And I don't think anyone thinks anything of this Sam Darnold deal other than like he's probably going to be on another 3 teams before his career's out.
I think because of the age difference alone, I would rather have Sam Darnold than Geno Smith. Geno Smith had a really good year 3 years ago.
The immune season.
A season less good 2 years ago.
He followed it up with another good year. He's been solid. I don't want to
okay, the thing that I did want to bring back from yesterday, though, that I wanted to ask you guys, because all of you made DK Metcalf a number 1 receiver, which I get. But 66 catches the last couple of years, that's 4 catches a game. That's 4 a game, and that's not a number 1 receiver. 4 catches a game is not a number 1.
I'm with you. I stayed out of it because just a show before, I was arguing that Tyler Lockett, kind of sneaky, has been just as many years. Like, their numbers are really damn close. You could make an argument that over the course of 5 years, Tyler Lockett, while he didn't fit the profile conventionally, was their actual number 1 target.
Are we starting to really actually have that conversation? Like I told you last week, I didn't know we were ready to have that conversation. DK not a number 1. Like now in Pittsburgh, is George Pickens the number 1?
The reason I bring it up is because of Aaron Rodgers all of a sudden. And tell me how true these reports are, because I don't know what to believe. And I don't know why this sneaks up on me every year. But the free agent movement of the last couple of days, and I will go to Tony in a second because I am told that he has been crafting all week in a top 5 top free agent moves. But since you, Greg, are a football authority, and since we've got Dookie back there, an internationally known insider, Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers was in a report, but I don't know how credible the reports are. And there are a lot of people doing a bunch of maneuvering right now, trying to get what are the couple of jobs that are available. Have you seen some of the reporting on the Giants that Shane has ruined everything because of what happened on Hard Knocks? And now not only do no NFL teams want to do Hard Knocks because of how the Giants front office looked while getting rid of Saquon Barkley, but now evidently nobody wants to go play for the Giants. Aaron Rodgers, Mina told us that was mutual desperation, but Pittsburgh seems to be in play. Is that real? Is Pittsburgh with Pickens and DK Metcalf something that makes sense to you for Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers is desperate right now. He doesn't have a lot of options. A month ago, 2 weeks ago, I think everybody assumed he was going to sign with the Raiders, and they went elsewhere. You know, I think Aaron Rodgers right now is going to take the first starting quarterback job he's offered because the opportunities are dwindling. There aren't that many teams left that are actively shopping and looking for a quarterback. And the idea that Aaron Rodgers might not get an offer that he feels is good enough is growing by the day.
What's real, though, with the Steelers and the reporting around the Steelers? Because you have a lot of local reporters doing stuff that the national reporters aren't doing. And so I don't know what's accurate when it comes to Pittsburgh and what is agent spiel, because it behooves Aaron Rodgers and his people to make everyone think that both the Giants and the Steelers are interested in Aaron Rodgers.
But does Mike Tomlin want to put up with the Aaron Rodgers circus? Because, like, that does not seem like a fit to me at all. Like, if you could get Russell Wilson to come back at an okay price, like, I think that might be a better option for the Steelers than Aaron Rodgers, who's still, he had a good second half, but he's still unknown, and he brings so much baggage that, like, why would you want to bring that in if you're Mike Tomlin?
We'll say we didn't know that Antonio Brown was crazy until he left Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but Mike Tomlin kept that, like, under wraps.
Yeah,
right? But like, we know Aaron Rodgers is crazy.
True enough.
I mean, I shouldn't say that, but like, we know Aaron Rodgers has a lot of outside interest.
Comes
that
with a lot of
he will
attention.
He will be bringing to the Steelers that doesn't seem like something Mike Tomlin would want to invite into the locker room.
It just feels like Aaron Rodgers wants to be the quarterback, but also coach the team pseudo-wise. So it's like, are you going to fall underneath and be humble enough to let a coach, or do you want to do everything?
And this is an upgrade in talent, right? I think a lot of people are positioning that way, but I mean, Breece Hall and Garrett. No, I'm saying for Aaron Rodgers to go to Pittsburgh. Najee Harris, I guess the addition of DK Metcalf makes this more of a consideration, but I like Wilson as a wide receiver better than I like DK or than I like Pickens. I like Breece Hall better as a running back than I like Najee Harris.
Harris is out, too. He's not even there.
And to your point about nobody wanting to play for the Giants, they just signed Javon Holland, who is a big free agent loss for Miami. So I think the Giants offering money makes them a team that people want to play for.
Yeah, no one wants to play with the Giants until they don't have options, and then they go play with the Giants. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if they get offered the money they're looking for and there's no other teams available, like, the Giants are just not going to not have a football team because of Hard Knocks last season. Like, they're going to have a football team full of players that went to play for the Giants.
Yeah, and if the Giants end up being Aaron Rodgers' last option, he will play for the Giants. He's not going to sit out the season at his age. He still has the ego and the need to sign and start somewhere, and he's running out of options.
Najee Harris is a Charger?
Yeah. Old face, new place.
Dude,
that happened.
There was something refreshing about yesterday with the X outage that even, like, front offices were complaining about it because they weren't working with all the information, because you would get an alert, you wouldn't see the whole thing, you'd try to click the tweet, it wouldn't expand because X had all these issues. It was a throwback. They were breaking news on television for folks yesterday.
Wow. Can we explore for a second, though, what Billy is saying? I know we are all in agreement that whatever Aaron Rodgers brings in terms of noisiness is going to be probably unlike any quarterback except maybe Deshaun Watson. There's no, I don't even know, or Colin Kaepernick in terms of noisiness. But the thing I wanted to ask you guys, what are the practical and actual detriments to that? When you say, does Mike Tomlin want to put up with that? He got rid of Antonio Brown because Antonio Brown was allowing people into their locker room, was addicted to social media, and did some things at the end that revealed to us that Antonio Brown was less stable than we thought. But in real terms, not noisiness, what is the effect of bringing headlines with a quarterback when you're starved for a quarterback?
Well, it depends on your team, right? And where you are as an organization. If you're a desperate organization like the Giants, then you're willing to bring it in. If you're Mike Tomlin, who has not had a losing season ever, who has kind of this, mold that he likes for his team, why would you risk that for bringing in a 42-year-old quarterback for one season and throw everything off just out of desperation because maybe Aaron Rodgers can take us to the second round of the playoffs?
I would make the argument that Aaron Rodgers bringing to that organization no turnovers has more value than whatever fear you have of headlines that don't matter much, that are noisy and unpleasant, and the Steelers have only had 3 coaches ever. But Mike Tomlin is also in a desperate place because he's where Jimmy Johnson and Wanstead were at the end with the Dolphins, where people were done with, hey, we're going to get there, get to the playoffs, but we're going to be the enemy of great is good, and we're never going to be good enough to do anything. I think the desperation would be enough for Mike Tomlin that he might be willing to welcome a chastened Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if,
but also a coach killer, Aaron Rodgers, right? So like, if you give in to the desperation, it better work, or this might be the end for you, Mike Tomlin. Like, signing him and having it blow up in your face could be the end of Mike Tomlin.
I think that's the case either way, though. I think Mike Tomlin is in legitimate trouble there, where people are tired in Pittsburgh of what they're calling mediocrity that isn't actually mediocrity because they've been spoiled by him having whatever it is, 15 straight winning seasons.
Talk about a guy that would get a job right
instantly
away if he got fired.
Yeah.
Right. He would, but it's been a long time since the Steelers' last Super Bowl. You know what else has been a long time? Since Aaron Rodgers' last Super Bowl. Career underachiever. 1 Super Bowl at age 42 he's great, don't get me wrong, first ballot Hall of Famer, but when you win 1 Super Bowl with that talent and that longevity, that's a career underachiever.
I have a question, though. Dan did the thing that I don't think it's accurate. He's like, you invite Aaron Rodgers into your team, no turnovers. What a ridiculous blanket statement. He had 11 picks last year. He was bad. He's 5 years older than Russell Wilson. He's also a worse quarterback than Russell Wilson was, if you look at QBR. So what are we doing here? This is like if we're comparing and we're looking at age and we're projecting for the future and we're looking at what they most recently did, Russell Wilson was better. 2 games against the Miami Dolphins got y'all crazy?
The Steelers also re-signed Mike Tomlin to a 3-year extension last offseason. So, like, they're not just going to pay him to go away after this. They had enough faith in him last offseason, and last year they were right there on the cusp of making the playoffs.
That doesn't get you very much these days. The cusp of making the playoffs just got Seattle changing everything and has the Dolphins drowning.
Right. Okay, but what does Aaron Rodgers get you these days?
That's
fair.
Well, first of all, it gets you star hope is what it gets you. And it's different than the previous star hope that you tried with Russell Wilson, which is something teams do all the time. It's what Seattle just did.
Also, the Steelers made the playoffs last year. I misspoke.
I'm just a little confused. Like, what are we doing? Here's an older star. Much older star.
He's a good fit for the Giants, like in what like how it's being painted, like star hope, like great New York Giants just cross.
But
town.
he just did New York. He can't go across town and be
it's
like,
not even
oh,
the
I'm
same
here
place.
now.
Yeah, just stay there.
That's true.
Stay put.
I am doing something with Aaron Rodgers' second half of the season that I was not doing the first, where he was moving a lot worse the first half of the season, just physically. To me, it's an odd thing to say, given the kind of greatness that we're talking about. But when you physically lose what he lost in being able to just move around the pocket, it makes him an entirely different quarterback. It's the thing that's happened to Russell Wilson, who's like 8 years younger than him, but has taken even more of a physical beating, where you're just used to him sliding around the pocket and being someone who moves away from the rush, and it's not something he can physically do anymore when he's 10 years older than the people chasing him.
I didn't get tricked one bit by that second half of Aaron Rodgers. He was playing pickup ball in the back. Those weren't meaningful games. Those were jokes. He was playing a lot of bad teams. Red Zone would never go to those games. He was just spamming balls to his best friend over there, loving life like it was his last hurrah. Russell Wilson was playing meaningful football.
He wasn't very good in them at the end, but
he was better than Aaron.
He was playing.
But Mike,
them.
here's the thing: they had Justin Fields and they had Russell Wilson, and then Justin Fields was playing well until Mike Tomlin said, "You know what? Russell Wilson gives us a better chance to win." Maybe they've looked inside and said, "Hey, you know what? I think Aaron Rodgers, even though he's been playing bad in New York, gives us a better chance to win than what we've already seen with Russell Wilson."
I'm not saying it's not a difficult decision to make. Like you weigh the pros and cons, but the more that you look at it practically, counting numbers, age. I'm not even talking about off-field headaches. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, he has fallen off completely since trying to force a ball to Devontae Adams and missing a wide-open receiver underneath in the playoffs against the San Francisco 49ers. He's fallen off a cliff. And on top of that, he tore his Achilles. Like, this doesn't make any sense.
You also, if you want to cite Greg Cody's quarterback rankings from yesterday that led into that whole debate over Geno Smith, Russell Wilson was ranked 23rd in those rankings. Aaron Rodgers, 22nd. So how much better are you getting?
Okay, but would Aaron Rodgers be an upgrade over Daniel Jones, for example? Yeah. Yes, he would. For 1 year, Aaron Rodgers is a good stopgap one-year quarterback for somebody.
But he hasn't been.
Well, he hasn't been for the Jets. He was on a bad Jets team, and he couldn't elevate it. But it's a fact that no matter the competition, it's a fact that his second half of last season was good.
That wasn't considered a bad Jets team until he made it a bad Jets team. That was not considered a bad Jets team.
The defense was considered okay.
That Jets team had hope when he was the quarterback.
They were favorites to win the division at the start of the
You've
season.
said that a few times, and you keep repeating that, and I don't think that's true. No. I think the Bills were always
you guys know. I'm telling you.
People wrote the Bills off.
The Bills had a bad
the start of last season, the Dolphins were ahead of the Bills.
It's another thing that you invite with Aaron Rodgers is like, hey, what makes you most comfortable? Well, Al Lazard does. Nathaniel Hackett does. The guy he's his own worst enemy because he carried so many mediocre people to success that they would never see otherwise. McCarthy, all these OCs that got jobs.
Fat number 80.
He just elevated everybody to the point that his mind got shaped that this is who I am. Just give me these mediocre people constantly. Hopefully Tomlin's different. If they do bring him in, I actually do think Tomlin would be different, and I can see how it could work. Do I trust Aaron Rodgers more to not lose me a Mike Tomlin game plan than I trust Russell Wilson. Like, that's the conversation I guess folks should be having.
You know who I would go after if I was the Steelers? Jameis Winston.
Wow.
Jameis Winston can
talk about Mike Tomlin's head blowing off.
No,
yeah,
no
that's
way.
not a fit for that.
It's like one of the worst fits for that team.
No way.
Because of the turnovers, it undoes it. Like they have to win in the margins. They cannot be turning the ball over. And Jameis will.
Did you see the work he did for Fox for the Super Bowl? That's a new man. That guy is buttoned up, and he's coming to work next season for whatever team signs him. That's a man that means business next year. If I'm a team out there looking for a quarterback, I look no further than Jameis Winston.
Okay. That is excellent anarchy from you. I will point out again to the audience that the big change the Tampa Bay Bucks made from going 7-9 to winning the Super Bowl was just eliminating Jameis Winston.
For the greatest quarterback ever. Like, come on. What are you doing?
Everything else was the same.
By the way, was breaking protocol and having secret workouts while no other team was working out.
He's fine. Who cares?
Jameis Winston, did he throw 30 interceptions?
30 club.
Yeah. He's the only one. Like, who's going to do that?
Okay.
History.
But I want everyone here, okay?
I hate to break it to you. Aaron Rodgers is a lot closer to Jameis Winston than he is to the version of Aaron Rodgers you think that you're going to get.
Okay, you're wrong on that.
I'm not.
Okay, again, I'm going to just keep saying that. I know that your analysis, Dookie, is when I say 30 interceptions. I know that's
yes, 4 years ago.
I know. Yes,
it is a big number.
I know, but 30 interceptions is
as opposed to the 0 made-up interceptions that Aaron Rodgers had last year.
Okay, I assure you that Aaron Rodgers will not throw 30 interceptions in any season remaining.
He may never play again.
Even if he's running around out there at 80 years old with a dialysis machine trailing him, he will not throw 30 interceptions in a season. Go ahead and find me the two quarterbacks. Did any two quarterbacks in the sport last season, did Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield throw 30 interceptions together?
Combined?
I don't think so. That's not how they're.
Cousins at the end of the year is as bad as I've ever seen.
That's not how.
That's fine. You're writing him off for something he did 4 years ago. You did that with Josh Allen, too, and where's he now?
Okay, Billy. Did it 4 years ago. They replaced him and immediately won the Super Bowl. Replaced just his 30 interceptions. Just got Tom Brady to stop throwing 30 interceptions.
Dan, we are such Aaron Rodgers jilted lovers. He was our favorite of all time, and he hurt us repeatedly, and we just want to believe he was the best version of himself. But I think we got to accept who he is now.
I accept that Jameis Winston is who he is. He is not buttoned up after his work for Fox this offseason.
Give him a chance, Steelers. You'll see. I won't be proven right because no one's going to give him a chance, but that's not because what I'm saying is wrong. It's because no one is willing to take the chance on him.
You will not be proven right because there has never been a worse fit in the history of the sport for a conservative run-the-ball team, the Steelers, than Jameis Winston.
Baker and Cousins combined for 32 picks this season. But Baker had 41 touchdowns, by the way.
If you tell me one quarterback does what two does, take him anytime.
The press box has changed.
But Mike said it best. The press box has changed. I mean, seriously, get over yourself. We're going to talk during the post game. Tim Reynolds, enough. I mean, enough.
I mean,
seriously.
you just got to know when
You're
the
not allowed to cheer in the press box. Did you know that?
Well, I did.
They were cheering for Will Manso. I think that's allowed.
And Goldie.
If the Dan Le Batard Show comes to a hockey press box, hilarity is going to ensue.
Yeah.
They're going to yell at Will Manso for 7 minutes, and you're probably going to have to go to a stairwell to write, man. Like, it's just...
if it was 7 minutes, I'd get it.
It
was
is what
7
it is.
seconds.
Exactly. I mean, David, everyone else was saying hi. They were enjoying the show. They were laughing at us. But one guy is still clutching on to his newspaper deadline.
I'm a little
and it's
disappointed.
Tim Reynolds.
And is he your demographics, too?
I don't know.
I happen to like Tim a lot, and I imagine this was going to be like E.J. Raddick or something, but that's just a bad look for Tim Reynolds.
Listen,
Yeah,
I went
I
up
do
to him
appreciate
afterwards.
This was the best part. Stugotz is like, I've known Tim for years. I'm going to go fix this. He walked to Tim and walked right back very quickly.
Yep.
It was a very quick interaction.
Well, he was writing. Okay?
He's on deadline. It's
enough of the deadline.
It's a
We're on deadline, too. I gotta get home. I feel like playoff hockey. I got to get home. I mean,
yeah, we're on deadline too. We got to get that post game out.
It is a working press box. Tim Reynolds is a journalist who's trying to write, and Stugotz is back there. Hey, Will Manson!
That was Chris and Goldie. Don't leave out Goldie.
We're on deadline too. They're going to kick us out of that press box a lot sooner than they'll kick out Tim Reynolds, who's just typing away. That's just
Those writers have their game stories done before the end of the game.
Precisely.
Yeah, a good writer, right?
Oh,
what happened there? I apologize to him. I've known Tim for decades. I mean, Cody was done. He was out of there. I mean, you know.
What was that interaction like, Stugotz? Take us behind the scenes. You walk up to him, you say what, he says what?
I said, Tim, I apologize. That's on me. I should know better. Not Chris, okay? I should know better. I've been in press boxes before. I know you have a deadline. I apologize. And he said, that's fine. Just, try to keep it down.
That is way too long.
That was
way
much longer than the actual conversation.
I always extend it a little bit. I mean, you guys
can
know
we
that.
call Tim Reynolds and just ask him about what the interaction was like?
No.
Greg Cody's back in my day. Seeds.
Seeds. Seeds. Had a slice of watermelon lately? Popped a few grapes in your maw? Then you probably notice seeds are disappearing from fruit. And you probably see this as a good thing just because it makes life a little easier. We love us some convenience. In fact, it's a terrible thing, the de-seeding of us. Symbolically alone, the seed is the king of life. Adam gave his to Eve, and here we are, if you believe the story. If they take the seed out of humans the way we have watermelons, we're all dead ducks. Beans, peas, rice, coffee, corn, all seeds. Flour and oil started as seeds. All hail seeds. So what the hell is happening? In exchange for convenience, we are not valuing the seed's impact on health, biodiversity, and our food system. The genetic variability of most plants require seeds as essential to their evolution. De-seeded, artificially homogenized fruits rely on human intervention in the reproductive process, exposing the fruits to many pathogens. Plainly put, seedless fruits are not as good for you. They contain less fiber and have fewer minerals and vitamins than their seeded natural brethren. Seedless fruits also have fewer antioxidants, plant-based nutrients, and anti-inflammatory properties. But enough about this science. Bring back seeds because seeds are fun. Not to mention aesthetically and visually pleasing. Kids growing up today have sliced open a watermelon, have never sliced open a watermelon, and experienced the joy of seeing that juicy red flesh dotted with embedded black seeds. Nellie Doogie used to tell us if we swallowed a watermelon seed, a big melon would grow on our belly. It wasn't true. But as kids, we'd make a competition out of seed spitting. You extracted the big seeds from the melon flesh. Tongue only, never fingers or a utensil, and you'd see who could project a seed the farthest. Every summer we did that. This was before video games, kids. Made our own games and toys. Flew a kite, kicked a can, spit a seed. Grapes were the real challenge because the seeds were so much smaller. We'd both pop a grape in our mouth, tongue moving, jaws in action, and whoever could spit out 3 seeds onto the table the fastest won. To this day, I carve real pumpkins and eschew the free fab foam and plastic fakes, mainly for the treasure trove of seeds inside. Hundreds and hundreds of them waiting to be scraped out, cleaned, and roasted in the oven to become delicious natural snacks. Respect, worship, and bring back the seeds. I need a t-shirt that says convenience is overrated. Insist to your local grocer that you'll take your watermelon seeded, please, and the grapes too. I'm Greg Cody, and that's how it was back in my day.
Yep.
Journalism is dead.
But journalism, as we know it, as you know it, what you wanted to do when you were a little kid, okay, it has changed. It has. It's changed, okay? You're not wrong. Stephen A. Smith is not wrong. You have to adapt sometimes, okay? Because the game has changed, your priorities have shifted. No one cares how someone goes and gets the news that they get, as long as the news is accurate, as long as it's coming from a credible place. If it's Woj, if it's Adam Schefter, if it's you, if it's Diana Rossini, if it's Shams, nobody cares. You might care. Greg Cody might care. Stephen A. Smith might care. But you know what? You all sold out. Every single one of you. Okay? Stephen A. Smith jumped inside the circus tent. I don't blame him. Why'd he do it? Because he had to do it. Because the game has changed. You jumped inside the circus tent. You did. You did so with me. Think about that. With me and with Greg Cody every Tuesday, okay? And so you have ditched journalism a long, long time ago because why? Survival of the fittest, Dan. You have to change with the times. You have to roll with a changing environment, roll with a changing industry, and that's what you decided to do. That's what Stephen A. decided to do. And for Woj, for guys like him, the game has changed slightly, where he went out and he sought reports, and he wanted to be the reporter. And you know what? If now he has morphed into a mouthpiece for the Blazers, I'm okay with it. I am good with it. I don't care.
Survival of the fattest.
Everyone, exactly. Everyone is selling out to make a buck.
What a terrible timing.
It was great.
Like that joke.
Hey, just give it up. You all want to be journalists. You're not journalists anymore. None of you. Not a one of you. Sorry.
You didn't even hear the joke.
I did. Survival of the fattest. It was great.
It just could have been done after Stugotz stopped talking, Dan.
Right. Yeah.
Shoehorn that
But
in.
I'm okay.
You're splitting hairs.
Right.
Okay.
You adapt. You roll with things, man. That's it. You know, Dan, you started off, you know, if you're a driver, you drove a yellow cab and you were loyal to the yellow cab. You know what? But the game has changed to Uber, to Lyft, to private driving. And you know what? You have to ditch the yellow cab and you have to drive an Uber. Why? Because you'll make more money. Why? Because more people are taking Uber than the dirty yellow cabs. That's why. That's what you do. No one cares about journalism. You know what they care about? Laughing, being entertained. And you do a great job of that. And Stephen A. Smith does a great job of that. No one cares about journalism. People care about smiling. That's it.
You know, this morning I found myself while I was driving Claire to school. I told her, you know, you ask a lot of questions. You should be a journalist. And now here in this conversation, I just, you know what? Don't be a journalist. Like,
exactly.
Do something else.
It's over.
Sad.
You're going to let Stugotz parent your daughter. You think that's a good idea?
You think journalism is a good occupation to choose now?
No, I would not. Listen, not only is it not a good occupation to choose, I have looked around Miami and realized we're the only ones providing the jobs we're presently providing. I heard local TV reporters are making $45,000 a year.
Huh.
I couldn't believe that. Amin El-Hassan has written in, and he is pissed off. He writes, Amin El-Hassan of Oddball, this LeBron conversation is wildly irresponsible. And then he hits me with the hammer. Shame on you.
Oh, damn.
He took shame, and he threw it on me.
Wow.
I am now draped in shame because Amin says that I'm wildly irresponsible for simply saying, when faced with something unprecedented, do you ever ask any questions? Because I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I want to make that clear.
You haven't talked to anybody.
But if you had to guess and be right, if you had to guess and be right, if it was a game show, you gotta be on a game.
You have to put $10,000 on it either way. Which way you doing
Wildly irresponsible.
Yeah, I sort of I'm on Team El-Hassan here.
But if you had to put $10,000 on it, which way you put
Greg,
Dad?
he did stop being a journalist recently.
Yeah,
that's true too.
That's true.
You're right.
Banging the drum.
I haven't accused anybody of anything. There will be no clip of me accusing anyone of anything here.
Well, you gave a platform to an accuser, though, and you ran with it.
I gave a platform.
He's talking about the Chael Sonnen.
Chael Sonnen? I gave a platform to an accuser.
Yeah. This is your magnum opus when it comes to shit stirring.
Amin will join us tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, okay, great.
In studio.
All right, excellent.
He wasn't gonna, but we're calling him in. Just
Okay,
you're doing this in March. People are going to seize on this. You're doing. You know what you're doing.
Seize on what?
You're doing this in March.
Not telling you how to think.
He's just asking.
I haven't made any accusations. There will be no shame placed on me, no matter what Amin is doing with his surplus of shames that he dishes out.
Look at you. Look at me in my eyes telling me you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
What am I doing? I played sound from Chael Sonnen saying what Chael Sonnen said. You can make up your own mind on what you think.
But it's not news. How long ago did Chael Sonnen... Was that pre-pandemic? Yeah. It might have been after because Andrew Schultz was in the frame, but I know he did this pre-pandemic too.
What's your deal with LeBron? Yesterday you're taking out his family. Today you're accusing him of PEDs. What's going on here?
Did neither of those things. Today is the 5th anniversary of COVID being declared a national emergency. So is today the day that Rudy Gobert started touching all the microphones?
That happened on Saturday.
Which was Sedano Day for me.
Yeah, which was also the 5-year anniversary of Donald Trump saying there are 15 cases. It's got to get down to 0 real quick.
I want to show the audience what shame should be on the audience by going to this Boost Mobile line again. The telephone number is 305-486-GOTS. I'm very disappointed over the course of us farming out the creativity to a competitive community, that what we've gotten back that gets assembled by Taylor is just an assortment of songs about Michael Doliak and an assortment of takes that haven't been up to snuff. Let's play the latest batch.
Hey, this is Paulie from Madison, Wisconsin, and it's occurred to me that Sean Penn is finally old enough to start collecting a Penn Sean.
What up, guys? Jawar from Virginia, first time, long time. Calling and let everyone know that my personal record book, Philadelphia Eagles have 4 championships. They beat 2 of the best quarterbacks of all time. Those should count for 2 rings. Eagles, 4 rings. Kevin Durant, none.
Hey, Dan, this is Ben from North Dakota. And anyone that buys, consumes, or enjoys Peeps should be jailed and put on a watch list.
This is Jay from Rochester, New York, and this is my limited fake, Ray Romano.
Ma!
Hey, this is Tyler from Michigan. My hot take is that Greg Cody was right. The Dolphins should have traded Dan Marino. They would have got a king's ransom in return, and maybe they would have actually had a decent defense.
Fine.
I'll hang up and listen.
Hey, Dan. First time, long time. James Gladstone. Sounds like the name of a character from the board game Clue. You know, like James Gladstone is guilty of murder in the kitchen with the candelabra. You know, like Clue.
Long-time caller, first-time listener. If a regular person wears denim on denim, we call it a Canadian tuxedo. But if Lenny Kravitz wears it, we call it sexy. Thanks, I'll hang up and listen.
That phone line has international access. Everyone in the world can call and be creative.
Wait, where is your snuff? Because I felt like that was up to it.
It was good.
Sean Penn earning a Penn Sean was terrible.
Yeah,
I had to talk that one out. I didn't get it at first. And I was like, wow.
Penn Shin.
The Boost Mobile boldest take from the weekend is presented by Boost Mobile, the newest 5G network in the country.
I think this is my favorite segment.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Should anyone who consumes Peeps be jailed? At Le Batard Show.
How do we feel about the fake Ray Romano?
I loved it.
That was good. Loved it.
One guy said long-time caller, first-time listener.
Yeah, I believe that was probably on purpose.
Miranda?
I love that.
I have the origins before you ask of up to snuff.
Wow.
Because it's a ridiculous thing to say. What is the snuff that we're up to? Well, it originated in the early 19th century in England. Initially, it referred to someone being sharp or aware, with snuff referring to finely ground tobacco that people would inhale through their noses.
Did any Doliak songs sneak into the Boost Mobile line?
Doliak, he's 6 feet from the rim, and I'm thinking maybe 6 feet is close enough. Doliak, a couple bounces on the rim, and it drops in, running back with the shooter's touch.
So that finely ground tobacco would get in people's noses and give people kind of a buzz. And so, like, if you said something was up to snuff, I don't like something else, it would be, you'd be alert. It would get your head on a swivel.
Mike Doliak. Mike Dolly.
Doliak, front court
Doliak. High motor finger roller guy who will lower his shoulder, Doliak. Mike Doliak.
You can't have another one.
I wanna be the very best, like Michael Doliak. Banana, the best center from east to west, even playing behind Shaq. Well traveled across the league, basically played for every team. But then he came to Miami, 51, he got that ring. Doliak got a pick and roll to the hoop, tripping over your giant shoes. Doliak, oh, you're my best friend, even more than Rafe LaFrance. Doliak.
Is that that's a Pokemon song?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, the kids are loving it.
All right,
The
so
Pokemon theme
we're
song.
skewing younger there. Mike Ryan mentioned not being able to keep up with some of the free agent moves, so I will just tell you that Josh Sweat is now an Arizona Cardinal. Josh Palmer is a Bill, and I'm curious here. Have you guys shaken off the memory of Laramie Tunsil when you do word association? Laramie Tunsil has been a very good tackle for a long time. Have you guys shaken off the memory of his draft day? One of the funnier things to ever happen on a draft day, where his draft stock slipped because he was wearing a gas mask filled with marijuana smoke, and evidently all the teams ran away. I remember having a conversation with Adam Gase after that, in which he thanked me for being on television talking about how stupid it was that his stock dropped because he was being blackmailed, and he was obviously and is a very good player. He's now in Washington. He goes for 4 picks. It makes sense that you would protect your young quarterback by investing.
It would for Houston, wouldn't it?
Yes.
It would for Houston, and they get 4 picks from Washington because they're going to protect Jaden. But has he erased the stigma or the laughter from the first? You now associate Laramie Tunsil with excellent offensive line
No,
play.
it's still the word association.
Yeah,
but I don't
gas
judge
mask. It was like, oh, the gas mask thing. He ended up being a good player. Yeah, but it's I always lead gas mask.
He'll never escape that.
It's also he was like the Dolphins fans, I think, look at him as the trade that got us Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
He's been a good player for a long time. It was silly that in retrospect, pretty silly for that to be what costs you draft droppage.
Do you think because you remember how it broke? It broke like draft night.
Yeah.
As they're talking
Yes.
about him, and he starts. Everyone's wondering, well, if this is out, what else is there going on?
Right.
This is bad judgment. So you can understand the slide as that's breaking, and people it's catching all these front offices by surprise.
All it takes is a rumor sometime, let alone visual evidence. That's why Dan Marino dropped to the Dolphins at number 28.
Wait a minute, though. The rumors are never marijuana. Dan Marino dropped because of other rumors. Like the rumors are never marijuana. We are not in a space anymore where marijuana has that stigma. That was a blackmail attempt that was effective in that it did what it was supposed to do, but only because these front offices that are always requesting the courage of others ran scared from something unpredictable when they're trying to do all their planning and everything. We can agree, though, that any player who is coming up in the draft who has marijuana issues is no longer a stigmatized player, correct?
But we're talking about whatever it was, 8 or 10 years ago, 6, 8 years ago. I think the stigma has really lifted just in that.
But football doesn't even make this something that they're testing for anymore.
Yeah, but
right?
at the time, that would have been a problem.
Greg and Billy are absolutely right. Like, you're fresh off Josh Gordon being the best wide receiver in the league, losing his entire career to the stuff.
We are in agreement now, though, that it was stupid. Yes, or we're not in agreement.
Yeah,
that
it was pretty extreme. The gas mask. It was all like very shocking to learn. I don't blame a single, especially 8 years ago, a single front office to be like, okay, this guy's not on our board right now. We don't know what the hell this is.
At the time, it wasn't stupid because you had no idea if he was even going to be able to play for you if you drafted him.
Okay, but the reason that I say it's stupid is because look at how obviously he's an excellent player. He's still going for 4 draft picks, and he's been in the league for how long? Like this is
but it's the NFL draft. There's other excellent players on your board that
you have 10 minutes to
evaluated.
decide.
Yeah, like hey, 10 minutes. You're splitting hairs between Laramie Tunsil and this other offensive lineman. Just as background, a video hit the internet 5 minutes ago of him smoking weed with a gas mask, and we don't know where it's coming from or if this is the tip of the iceberg, if this is a blackmail attempt. Either way, go ahead and tie your future to this guy.
Yeah, let's. The tiebreaker is let's not take the guy wearing a gas mask.
Okay, you say tiebreaker, but this guy was seen as a top 5 talent as offensive lineman. The skill set is not all things being equal. He's better than almost anybody else who played the position in the draft.
Right. I get where you're coming from, and you're looking at it from now. Hindsight's 2020. Like you're being pretty flippant with the career of a front office executive that has climbed his entire career, and all of a sudden this is my first round pick. This is my first pick as GM. My job's on the line. Like I don't know if I can do this.
I'm not being flippant. I'm asking for people whose job it is to find value and have vision. To find value and have vision. That's all I'm asking for. Do your job.
But the first 5 picks were Jared Goff, Super Bowl champion, Carson Wentz, Joey Bosa, Ezekiel Elliott, Jalen Ramsey.
Those are, except for like one, I think, all good players.
Ronnie Stanley just signed a big deal.
Yeah, Ronnie Stanley ended up being a good player. If the tiebreaker between Ronnie Stanley and Laramie Tunsil was the gas mask video, the person made a good call on Ronnie Stanley.
I was doing offensive lineman. I wasn't doing all positions. I was just doing, you need an offensive lineman.
I mean, Jack Conklin and Ronnie Stanley went ahead of him?
The only tackle was Ronnie Stanley that went before him.
The only thing we disagree on is that you're not recognizing or admitting that 9 years ago, the stigma against marijuana use in the NFL was much more onerous than it is today.
It's not that I'm not acknowledging that. It's that I'm always asking leadership to risk unpopularity because that's what leadership does.
But it's not. It's more than unpopularity when there are consequences to him failing drug tests and not being able to play on the field.
It's also not just what leadership does. They do other things. It's not, all right, I'm a leader. I'm going to risk unpopularity. That is my form of leadership. No, that's one of the things that I can do if I have my convictions. But my job as a front office executive in the NFL is to get the best player, the one that's not going to explode, the one that isn't going to make my team worse. And I think learning that on the fly, we're really relitigating this is a weird time.
Well, I just do believe that things have changed so much in this country that it is worth looking back at how silly we were back then about things, especially when I'm starting the show, shrugging my shoulders, even though Amin says shame on me and it's widely irresponsible, by understanding that that drug use in the pain sports is going to be something that is so, and the people who lord over those sports know this, know how many self-medicators there are, know before they draft some of these people where the holes and weaknesses are, and I just don't think there should ever be a lot of, or should have ever been a lot of fear of whatever it is you think marijuana is because you're a leader and you're an old person and you're not someone who is thinking clearly about how it is that consequences and risk need to be managed when you're in a leadership position. And you're saying to me that you want these people you know, that they're worried about their job or that they're making decisions because their careers are in jeopardy. All of the decisions are those. Like every single one of the decisions that they're making that are the big decisions are things that risk your job. And too often, what ends up happening with executives in sports is they just do what everyone else does because they're afraid. And it's not what I want from my leadership.
I agree with you that in the clarity of retrospect, the Miami Dolphins made a fabulous draft pick by taking Tunsil despite that image of him wearing a gas mask. But without that clarity of retrospect, in real time, it was more than just the marijuana aspect. It was just an alien visual. And you're wondering, that draft night, the whole league had to be wondering, what the hell Is he wearing? What's his mental health issue? I mean, a lot of stuff went into just the jarring photo of
But
that.
you guys say the entire league, it went from 5 to 13. So they still invested millions and millions of dollars in the pick 8 picks later. Like, the thing you guys are talking about, it's fine at 13, but 5, nah, too much for me. Too much for me at 5.
I just think it's like looking back, like the positions along the offensive line, you could argue they've had better careers than Laramie Tunsil.
I mean,
so it's just
fair.
Yeah, I guess that's part of leadership too. But it worked out for Laramie Tunsil, worked out for the Miami Dolphins. It was a different time. It's like the stigma around marijuana in that league, fresh off the Josh Gordon thing, and in this country has evolved totally.
I mean, Laramie Tunsil will be beloved by Miami Dolphins fans forever just for all of the value that they got once they traded him. Like, they rebuilt their entire team by trading Laramie Tunsil. If you look at all the picks that they got, it led to Tyreek. It led to a ton of people, just Laramie Tunsil.
A ton of people and no playoff victories.
Super true.
What is Houston doing in particular? Like, they got
we started today. We're taking out Dan Marino. We took out
LeBron
Pudge, and we
Tunsil,
went after LeBron
these
James.
are all local luminaries.
Exactly right. The
Ekblad.
Panthers. We started talking about
The only
Ekblad.
one that deserves it is Brad Marchand.
Oh no, we also took out Messi, didn't we?
Today's show is called Reckless.
Speaking of local luminaries, Ron Magill is a local and a national luminary. He had his feast with the beast this past weekend. We have some photographs here of many people. Tony went and Billy went, and Greg was mad because he went, but Cody flaked, and Greg was mad at his son for not making it.
I wanted him to drive me there.
So I mean, he says I
Not
flaked.
worry about having a cocktail.
I never
The zoo
could-
was a long way away.
Yeah, I never could make it. I didn't flake. I texted Ron early in the
Why
week.
is Ron next to my wife?
Was that Ari Azer?
It is. Ron Magill has only media friends. It is. All of his friends are in the media. Do you have any top friends who aren't in the media, Ron? Anybody who isn't somebody who can help serve you in your role as ambassador for Zoo Miami?
I can't think of anybody off the top of my head.
It's all media people. Your best friends are all media people. Did I hear correctly on the Greg Cody show featuring Greg Cody that you and Ron Magill are in talks on a second book, but
It's a rumor.
But you're not sure whether or not you want to do it or not?
Nothing's been signed, but we're talking about it. Ron's been, and the publisher have been kind enough to approach me about that, and it sounds like a very, very interesting project.
Do you want to share with us anything, or is
Ron, what would you say about it?
I think it's kind of interesting, actually. I was approached on this project a while back, long time ago, and I would not do it because I didn't think I could do it. When they told me, well, we'll talk to Greg about it, and I said, if Greg's willing to do it, but Greg's got a lot on his plate. Make a long story short, it's a book on sex and the animals. It's going to be more of a photo book. Puts a lot less pressure on Greg having to write so much. He's going to write. Don't get me wrong. He's going to do the narrative on it, but the images will be the driving factor of this book. Mm-hmm. So it's basically, this will not be a book that you get for your kindergartner.
There you go. Unlike The Pride of a Lion, which
there
is
you go.
very suitable for children, particularly middle school or that.
That's right. As a matter of fact, I'm heading over to Books and Books tomorrow because I have to sign 770 more books that were just sold.
Whoa, that's a lot of books.
I know.
Wow, that's good. That's great to hear. We love The Pride of a Lion. I was so very proud of that project, and we look forward to this next one. Should I agree to do it?
Hey, I want to tell you something, guys. Look, we just had our silent auction, right? At the Feast with the Beast. This was one of the things, which is the photograph that I captured, a signed photograph of Quasi.
The lion signed it?
No, I signed it.
What
idiot.
a beautiful lion.
Then, of course, the book signed, and I especially was asked to sign it with a special dedication, so I put a big dedication in there. Okay.
Whoa! Wow.
Yes. You know how much these people paid for that photograph in that book?
I would love to know.
$5,000.
Wow.
That is why your endowment is as substantive as it is.
That's magic. What's my cut of that, Ron? I'm just curious.
That's $0.
Get an endowment.
What I just got from that laughter is your cut is exactly $0.
We're joined by shark apologist Ron Magill. Ron, I saw a couple months back it appeared to be sick. A mako shark was just hanging in a lake in Hollywood. And now I saw a video yesterday on social media of a 12-foot mako shark swimming past a boat in Hollywood. Why are makos, which are historically not found near Hollywood, Florida, hanging around here now? We got great whites and we got makos. This is not good.
Makos, first of all, are found throughout the ocean. They don't usually come close to shore. They're more of a deep water shark. That's a tiger shark right there in that video. That's not a mako. That's a tiger shark. But anyway, I understand the effect that you want to give here is, oh my God, sharks, everybody's going to die.
But listen, these are new sharks. In my entire life, there were never makos found in Hollywood, ever. And now it's something I got to worry about.
First of all, Mike, to say never is wrong. Okay, they've been off of the coast of Hollywood many times. As a matter of fact, charter fishermen that tell you they leave off the coast of Hollywood, catch makos on a regular basis.
Okay, well, I apologize. I believe you. You have more facts on it. I'd never seen it, though.
But the fact is, you are now very laser focused on sharks. So anytime a shark thing comes up, you want to prepare to come on the Le Batard Show and hammer me about how sharks are going to be the end of the human race. And you're so far from the truth on that. You're so negative about an animal that is so beneficial to the ocean, which in turn is beneficial to our quality of life. And I'm just telling you, listen, stop it, Mike. Just stop it. Sharks are less dangerous than the damn car you drive to work.
What is the video that we just played? Lewis, do you want to show that again? What is the video? Because Mike went rogue there and chose some video.
I can tell by looking at the teeth, that's a tiger shark.
Okay,
yeah, look at this killing machine. I've seen this video, too, because my algo is locked in on these man killers.
So what is this doing? Why is this doing this the way that it is doing it?
Well, because he's being tormented. Can you see how the guy is grabbing the thing's snout and he's trying to get the thing to bite so he gets a good video, so he gets a lot of clicks on a stupid social media platform? Did you see that shark attacking anything? No. The shark was actually kind of laying back until the guy taps it on the snout and puts the freaking surfboard or whatever he's got there in his mouth so he can get a good video for social media. Another freaking idiot.
Okay, I hate when I get Ron this indignant.
I love
it's
it.
Always, he's just a nice and decent and peaceful man.
Listen, I'm done. I'm done with these social media idiots who do whatever it takes for clicks at the expense of an animal. I'm done with it.
Breach.
I'm done with you defending sharks. They're killing machines.
Let's play for Ron. He's talked before about how I think it's gorillas eat berries and get drunk. Here are some lemurs. They are using some sort of millipede toxin. To get high. What is happening here to this lemur? This lemur. This is millipede toxin that prevents pests from biting, and they're using it here to just do drugs.
No, they're not trying to do drugs. What they're doing is they're getting the thing to spray the secretion that causes a repellent for insects, and they rub it on their fur to keep the mosquitoes from biting them. Okay, they're not getting high, Dan. They're actually doing some. They bite it because when they bite it, that anthropod, that millipede, squirts out that secretion, which then can be used as a repellent for insects. So they bite it, they don't eat the thing, or they're not getting high on it, but when they bite it, then rub the millipede all over their fur to get the secretion on their fur. It's fantastic when you think about it, how smart this animal is to utilize the biochemical of another animal to help defend it against mosquito bites. We should all be that smart, man.
Couldn't this be a two birds situation? You know, it's keeping the mosquitoes away and they're also getting high?
No, they're not getting high off of that chemical. If they had enough of that chemical ingested, it probably would kill them.
Ron, what's the dumbest thing that an animal will do because they think it serves a purpose? Like, before we were talking about how humans used to sniff tobacco, right? And it seems like humans, animals, whatever, there's nothing that they won't sniff or put in some part of their body, right, to see if it does something. So, like, what is something that animals continue to do that doesn't actually serve a purpose?
Well, they continue to put things in their mouth. I mean, all the time. Indiscretionary diet is what I call it. You know, anybody like I had a miniature schnauzer. God, my God. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you what just happened. This is the God's honest truth. My daughter just got off the phone with me. She has a miniature schnauzer puppy. He's now about 4 months old. And last night she brought him back from his walk out in Los Angeles, okay, in Studio City, and he started looking like he was sick. He started losing his balance. She was all worried. He started looking like he was going into a coma. She immediately brought him to the veterinarian. You know what happened to that dog?
Ate something.
He was chewing the remains of a doobie that somebody threw out on the street. he got chewed on marijuana.
Doobie.
Wow.
Do you think he knew and he was trying to get high?
No, these freaking dogs will put everything in their mouth, and he literally got high. And it got to the point where my daughter thought he was going into some kind of, neurological backlash. And the vet took it and said, no, this is exact. And the vet told her, we get 4 or 5 dogs coming in every week that do that they either lick the ash that's left from a marijuana cigarette, or actually the stub itself. They chew on it and they get freaking sick and high.
Get super hungry.
Is it possible that Ron, maybe your daughter was puffing the magic dragon? You know what I mean,
Smoking
and then
a
wasn't a stranger. You know what I mean? Like some of the ganja, if you will.
Smoking another doobie.
You're making fun of me using the word doobie. They don't use that word anymore?
Yeah, they do. Doobie Brothers do. They use it all the time.
Greg Cody has your back when it comes to the pop culture lexicon.
You got that right. Hey, Ron, I read that video cameras were placed around the necks of a half dozen zebra. And one of the things they learned was that in the wild, zebras and giraffes sometimes hang out together for the mutual protection of both species.
You're exactly right.
What else can be learned from tagging animals or placing video cameras on them?
Well, first of all, we learn what they eat. We learn that they prefer certain types of grasses, certain types of foods. We learn what what other species they hang out with. What's the environment they hang out with? What animals might be leaders? Is it a herd reaction to things, or are they individual reactions to things? How they defend themselves. If an animal's being attacked, if an animal's being predated on, what do they do to defend themselves? So we learn about the behaviors, and we also learn about range. How much area does an animal need to adequately survive, not just survive, but thrive in a natural environment? So those cameras provide a lot of data. A lot of those cameras also have components in them that give us weather, temperature, humidity, rain, all that kind of stuff. So we know the ideal environment that these animals are looking for.
Ron, Feast with the Beast was incredible over the weekend. I do have a question for you, though. The tigers, obviously you know them by name. Are these the only tigers on the planet that have heard Bad Bunny songs? Because the bar was playing Bad Bunny, and it was right next to where the tigers were, and they were very, very interactive.
They were into it?
They were into it. First they were sleeping kind of curled up, then the Bad Bunny started, then they kind of poked their head up and started walking closer to their little moat thing right there.
They probably hated it.
And just kind of hung out.
They might have hated the music, but they were looking for the bunny, if you know what I mean.
Okay, we don't know what you mean.
we all are, right?
Put it on a poll at Le Batard Show. Over, under 65 years old, someone who uses the word doobie to refer to marijuana at Le Batard Show. Do you know the butcher?
Is that really that outdated? Nobody says doobie anymore?
They seem to react in a way that suggests I'm with you, Ron. I don't know the
doobie.
Look, they love to judge others, and when you have Greg Cody as your ally, that is not what you want. Do you know what the butcher bird is, though, Ron? Are you familiar? Can you tell us? Okay, I want to play a video for you here. What can you tell us about the butcher bird and what it is doing here with these lizards, where it impales them with weaponry?
That's exactly why it gets the name the butcher bird. It actually will take its prey, its lizard, and it will use a spike on a cactus or on a thorn plant, and it will impale it on there to kill it. So it doesn't struggle, and then it can go and eat it whenever it wants.
And what would you say is the most creative of these things that you have seen, where an animal hides some of its food to keep it away from others?
Oh, I mean, all kinds of animals. I've watched leopards make a kill, and they would immediately rip out the intestines and the internal organs of that prey, and they bury the internal organs so they can take the rest of the prey up to the tree. But it's the internal organs that give off the most smell, and they don't want to have to draw in hyenas and other animals that will try to steal their prey, so they do that. Now, as far as tactics for eating, like you see this butcher bird doing things, there's a vulture that loves to eat ostrich eggs, but can't get into the ostrich eggs. So what it will do is it'll find a rock, it'll fly up really, really high, and it's able to literally put itself right above that ostrich egg, and it drops the rock, so the rock falls and breaks the ostrich egg. Come on, that's really cool stuff, man.
It is. When I've seen, there are an assortment of birds that do stuff like that, correct?
There's an eagle that will take a baby chamois, a chamois, which is a type of like mountain goat, and to kill it, it grabs it, flies up with this baby chamois, and drops it along the mountainside, so it careens along the rocks, and it gets crushed that way, and then it could go down there and feed on it without any resistance. Really cool stuff. I mean, hideous, but cool.
I want to make
shocking news out of Minnesota. A month ago, it was reported that Daniel Jones was told this job is yours. You're QB1. But now Daniel Jones is on his way to Indianapolis to challenge Anthony Richardson for his job, leaving J.J. McCarthy as the only quarterback on Minnesota's roster.
For now.
Thank you. With that breaking news, you made Greg Cody take a vigorous sip and enjoy spectating your news. Look at you. Do you have any opinions on this?
Instantly, I would say that Aaron Rodgers would be a good fit for Minnesota if they think that McCarthy needs a year of healthy seasoning.
The Brett Favre train continues.
That would be shocking to see him in a Vikings uniform.
I mean, the guy has become Brett Favre.
The same path.
Minus the picks. Minus the dick.
I read the very true. That's a big.
He hasn't done that one yet.
I thought you meant draft picks.
No.
But like it's an eerie
what
similar
happens in the year
path.
stays in the year.
Exactly
you know what I mean?
right.
I have an announcement that has been, I want to say, weeks and months in the making, but it might be more than a year in the making. So go ahead and put this graphic up for the folks who are viewing and listening live, because you can catch us on DraftKings Network Monday through Friday, 11 to 2 p.m. Eastern. You can get us more places than you ever have: Samsung TV Plus, the Roku channel, Vizio, Watch Free Plus, Max, and Peacock, and YouTube. But for also Apple, Spotify, Amazon, SiriusXM Channel 85. But for right now, if you're listening live, we're going to give you an opportunity that most of those folks do not have for an intimate event. And you're going to get, I'm going to guess, access that you're going to want here, because I think these tickets are going to sell very quickly. On April 13th, we now have tickets for sale, PoppyDominoes.com. You've got Poppy coming out of retirement, Ricky Williams coming out of retirement, and this is the biggest of the announcements. Ron Magill is going to do his Sex and the Animals presentation on April 13th. That has sold out. How many years running has that sold out for you, Ron? Because you had retired it, but you were doing it for how many years?
It was 22 years straight. It sold out.
All right, so 22 years straight. I'm promising you this is going to sell out, because it always does. And
I haven't done it for 5 years.
Look, this is a big deal here. Locally, it is great. It is, and we're trying to keep this particular event very intimate. We don't want a whole lot of people there because we want to be able to interact with you. So tickets are now on sale, PoppyDominoes.com. And what can you tell the people about this, Ron? Because you're rusty. I can't believe you used to do this on Valentine's Day. I guess I was at the last one, and it was
you were at the last one,
and it was right before the pandemic, right?
That's right.
And so, what can you tell the people about what it is they'd be getting here and why it is? This is just one of the things. We're going to have a bunch of surprises. We're going to have live music. We're going to have a domino tournament. Greg Cody's going to be there, even though he doesn't know how to play dominoes. He's going to be playing with his son. He has no idea. So
I know how. I'll become a dominoes expert. But the main reason I'm going, quite frankly, is for book research for the Sex and the Animals thing.
There you go.
PoppyDominoes.com. What can you tell people about what they're going to be getting? And by the way, I should mention this is a not-for-profit event. All of the proceeds are going to Ron Magill's substantive endowment. So if we're going to have at PoppyDominoes.com, there's stuff that you can buy, stuff Ron has done with my brother. There's an assortment of things. All of the proceeds are going to Ron's endowment. What can you tell us about what you're going to be doing April 13th, Ron?
Well, they're going to see things on the big screen there that they have either thought about doing or have done, but they didn't want to tell anybody about it because they thought it was weird or it was kinky.
That's
but in
a
fact,
tease.
pretty natural because you're going to see how the animals do it. Listen, guys, if you're coming here to, be enlightened, well, you're going to be very humbled. It's going to be a very humbling evening for the guys. You're going to see penises bigger than you've ever seen in your life. You're going to see animals doing things that you wish you could do. Ladies, you're gonna wish you were an animal in a lot of these cases. The bottom line is it's a very graphic. I don't use any bad language, but it's very graphic photography. I mean, I put cameras where they have rarely gone before. I mean, I've been on my back underneath a rhino.
Whoa.
I mean, I've been no. The rhino wasn't on top of me. I was on my back underneath the two rhinos, so I can get the right perspective, so people can see it the right way. Okay, people want to see that kind of intimate stuff, even though you don't want to admit it. You want to see it, and after that night, you will never be able to unsee it.
So I think this is true of all our parties. There's a lot of penis there. That tends to be a recurring theme in our lives, but I'm not clear on what you're saying. This is a good date night, because this sounds more like
it's a great date night. It's not a great first date night unless she's really easy, okay? But it is a great date night.
Great night.
Okay? It's a great date. Listen, you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn about the zebra, how the zebra can do things with its vulva, its vagina. It can literally it does this winking thing that's unbelievable. Listen, I've asked my wife if she could do it. Originally, she said it's impossible, but she's making progress. It's the kind of thing. It brings a whole new level, a whole new. It's just a great experience, man.
BoppyDominoes.com is where you go. These are going to sell out quickly, and we're only doing a few hundred. We're only going to do like 400 maybe. And so I'm telling you right now, you're getting an opportunity now before other people get the opportunity, because I don't think these last through the day. So, Ron, thank you. It's good seeing you. Always good seeing you. And we look forward to that. It's coming out of retirement for the first time in 5 years. Sex and the Animals, not Sex with the Animals. Thank you, Ron.
All right, that's the next show. Take care, guys.